Hey, folks, what's happening? It is your friends from the Slices and the Dices here, playing a little alien RPG yet again. We are going with our awesome group of players here who are going to be playing in a new campaign. If you didn't catch session 0, rewind time and go ahead and watch session 0. And if you don't have a time machine,
it's on YouTube.
Yeah, just go on YouTube. The also known as the Wayback Machine, if you're old enough to remember that. But here we are, session 1. Oh my gosh, it's happening. It's happening, folks. Nobody panic. Nobody panic. Just kidding. Everybody panic. Shit.
Sounds like I'm playing a 14-year-old with no weapons in space.
What do you need weapons for? Weapons? Children never die in these movies, do they? Do they?
I mean...
No, tell me, do
in
they?
Space, no one can hear you, children.
I was going to say no one can hear you, teen. But
no one hear you, teen?
I thought the same thing.
It's good. It's good. It's good, Marcus.
I thought it. I thought it.
It's fine. There's a lot of people wearing hats or head paraphernalia in this party. As the whiskey part says, "Oops, all hats." Hashtag oops, all hats.
That's me.
I don't have a hat.
Oh, dang it. I missed the memo too. Do I need to find something?
No. You're good. Julie, don't put a hat on your gorgeous head. You don't need that shit. We're solid. We just need these cans and a prayer. We're good.
He hates these cans.
Hey, let's go around and do a quick introduction for everybody, so we don't have to do it at the end, and so we can make we can beat a hasty retreat after all is said and done.
Sounds like Matt has a dramatic exit plan.
Yes, turn off and run. Wait, what the fuck? No, run. Just run for the door. It's over there.
Xenomorphs fall, everyone dies.
Hey,
quality streaming entertainment.
Indeed.
No spoilers.
Nope, absolutely not. So let's start. I'm going to go ahead and ask Sarah to start because she's playing a kid, and we're going to go youngest to oldest. So
hell yeah,
Sarah, tell us.
Not youngest IRL, but
not
youngest in the game.
You're playing the character. Tell us where you're from and where you've been on the internet. Go.
Hey, I'm Sarah. You can find me on the interwebs at Lovely Llama on various social media platforms.
All right.
Where I don't post very often. Also in our Discord on Reddit, you'll find me in the Alien RPG subreddit. So I'm always around and saying hi and plugging our stream because I'm shameless like that. And as Violet Fiasco in Twitch chat when I have a moment to check it during the game.
Super. Thank you, Sarah. Going clockwise, we've got the trucker with the tucker. That's Patrick, who's playing some kind of crazy bullshit that I'm gonna have to fucking close my eyes and just pretend like I like it. It's fine. Patrick, tell us where you can be found on the internet.
I can be found enthusiastically annoying every DM when I'm not DMing for this Slices and Dices or Cast Party. You can also find me frequently behind a bar or just in a bar, usually drinking whiskey while doing so, hence the Whiskey Bard on Twitch. Not that I ever actually stream anything. I'm always on Slices and Dices. Yeah, that's me. Oh, and I'll be playing Beaucephus Tucker, your space-based trucker.
Whew. I said it before, I'll say it again. People who may notice a slight deviation in the video and the sound between on Patrick's side, pay no mind. It's just a thing. It's perfectly fine. You can hear him. You can see him. Don't complain. It's enough.
Someday.
Fine.
We'll fix it one of these days. But until then, just pretend like you're watching a badly dubbed movie from the 70s. Speaking of people from the 70s, hey, look, it's Ben. I'm just kidding.
I was born in the 70s. So.
Yep, join the club. Ben, where can people be watching you do things on the internets?
Usually here on Slices and Dices in our Discord. You can also find me on Twitch, making fun of my kids and my pets and, stupid videos. So
TikTok.
Yeah, TikTok. What did I say?
The T word.
I said Twitch. Yeah, there's a lot of T's.
A lot of T's.
Yeah, I'm playing Hank Savage, a former Marine who's, trying to get a moon named after himself or a statue somewhere.
Sounds like a real stretch for you, Ben. Like, honestly.
I know, right?
Real stretch.
It'll be hard. So hard to get into this character.
It's okay.
I did fail to mention that I'm playing Gale, a 14-year-old kid who has been shipped off to her uncle's care.
Superb. Thank you for filling in the blanks.
Yeah, sorry about that.
And now moving even further clockwise, we've got Julie. Julie, where can people find you on the internet, please?
Hi, I'm Julie. Let's try that. Reverse buffering. Okay. Wow, I haven't even had anything to drink.
Let's go.
Let's
Let's
go. Anyway.
Let's go.
Okay. Hi, you can find me as Dritzt on Discord. Mostly you're going to find me on Discord hanging out with our crew here on Slices and Dices, and also with some other friends over on the Dark Domains Discord. Started playing a few one-shots with our friends over there. And so, yeah, that's it, because I'd rather just hang out with my gaming friends and my real-life friends than really just about anything else. So, and what I will be portraying today is Bella Rose Murphy, a charismatic singer. Yeah, something like out of a speakeasy type songstress.
Okay.
So,
it. I think we compared her last time to Jessica Rabbit for some reason or another a little bit.
Curvy and skinny, voluptuous in the right ways.
And redhead.
All the and the red hair, the long wavy red hair.
Rabbit.
There's the art. You guys can see right under
Maeve's art.
Beautiful. In case you guys haven't noticed, all the tokens for all of our current roster of characters are made by our resident artist, Maeve Clymer. Maeve is an amazing artist, and if you guys don't know about Maeve, I'm sure she, who is I think currently in chat, was going to just plug the shit out of her stuff. So if you're interested in artistry to the nth degree, that is Maeve. Maeve took the descriptions that we had from these characters last time and just went to town. And you guys take a look at this fucking art. Like, geez, this is like professional level shit. So Maeve, grats to you. Looking forward to just watching your artistry career just skyrocket. It's already amazing. Girl. So God bless you.
Watching it just over the last couple of years get like just gradually better and better.
Yeah.
So delightful to watch. I just zoomed in on everyone's tokens, and it's really funny because I'm getting very strong Gaius Valtar vibes from Marcus's token right now. And I'm not gonna let that influence how I feel about his character.
Okay. We haven't gotten to Marcus yet, but you know what? That's a great segue. Thank you, Sarah. Marcus, how you doing there, Chief? Doing all right?
Hello. I'm doing great.
Okay. Tell us about where you can be found on the internet, please.
Not really anywhere except here, but I am a few places as Beardy Beardface or NYC Cooper. But the only place I'm really doing anything is here with you fine people.
Okay.
And my character that I'm playing is Chesterton Clark. He is a scientist. He is quite quirky, I guess is the kind way to say it. And he's pretty much only about the science and not about the social life. He hasn't really figured that out yet.
Gotcha.
Sheldon.
Yeah, exactly. Sheldon.
Yeah, yes, very much, very, very Sheldon.
Marcus, just an FYI, a little bit of a crackle on your audio. I'm not sure if that's like a fan. Sometimes we hear like a little crackle when you speak. I'm not sure if that's something.
I'll work on that.
Solid. Thank you very much. But otherwise, it's
that sounds like an XLR cable crackle.
It could be, or it's insignificant, and probably will fade away into the darkness once we have our music up and running. Anywho, so it's fine. And hey, folks, I'm Matt. I'm going to be the game mother for this particular campaign. I was the game mother in the last one, and I guess people like it. So I'm just gonna keep on being the mother until people tell me to stop being a mother.
Matt the best mom until he kills her.
Listen, if I can't be a good mom, at least I can be
A deadly one?
a deadly mom. What the fuck? That's horrible. Yeah. I mean, not every mom is good all the time. Wow.
That's a
You've been
wire
watching
hanger,
too many
Mom. It's
serial
cool.
killer documentaries.
It's possible. It's possible. Anywho, so
Thank you, Ben.
we've got some really great stuff coming up here on session 1 of The Lost Worlds, which is our campaign name. It's based off the Building Better Worlds source book, which came out, I think, last year. We've got some really great sponsors. I'm just going to name them quickly before we get into the thick of things. We've got Into the AM, which is an amazing purveyor of clothing. They started out with t-shirts. They've gone full bore into hoodies and jackets and all kinds of crazy shit. And the logos and the quality of their goods are just out of sight. I wear their t-shirts pretty much all the time, probably too much. My wife's like, you wear that t-shirt too much. And yet I think I'm going to wear it out, and yet I don't. She throws it into the wash. I expect, the logo to fade. Doesn't. I expect it to get a little shrinky. Doesn't shrink. It stays soft. It stays pliable. It stays gorgeous, and I love them. They're so good. I don't know what magic they put into these t-shirts and all the rest of their stuff. Buy their stuff, and you will get, of course, a discount if you go to their site right now and use the code SlicesSwag at checkout. You get 10% off your purchase. What other things we got? We've got, of course, Monument Sound. Their sound effects and their music are incorporated into most of Slices and Dice's stuff, but into this one specifically as well. They have a lot of creepy horror fucking sound effects and sci-fi effects, which we're going to be using quite intensely throughout this game. So I hope you guys don't mind getting the goose pimples on your whole body, because damn it, we're going to be using the fuck out of Monument Sound during this campaign. Another sponsor of ours is a longtime sponsor, and it's a dude who I have been just absolutely gifted to work with, and that is Jasper Nilsson Siren. Jasper Nilsson Siren is a guy who makes probably what I would consider to be the best battle maps on the internet. What? What are you talking about? Yes, as a practical a private purveyor of just himself, no one else doing the work, this dude puts in the fucking work. He makes maps for a lot of published campaigns and a lot of other games, including our own. But damn it, the dude is talented, and we are going to be seeing his maps throughout the entirety of this campaign. So thank you, Jasper, and we look to have your maps front and center as we push through this particular campaign.
Andy once woke up at 3 a.m. to play Morkborg with
Can
us.
you believe it? I mean, the dude, I think he's in Sweden, right? So
He's in Sweden, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, dedication. Thank you.
Mhm.
Dedication to the craft.
We love you.
Another relatively recent sponsor of the show of all Slices and Dices is our friend Ryan. Ryan, aka Darth Caustic. Darth Caustic does custom dice. You can find his dice, which he is such an artist of. Look, Patrick's got his. They're sort of blending out on the
Slices and Dices set.
They are the Slices and Dices set. He made a custom dice set for Slices and Dices with the logo as the D20, and they're in multiple different colors. I have a whole
So good.
shit ton of them right here.
I don't have mine yet, but I need to get them.
Let's see if I can put this up without them. Oh, there goes a.
Nice.
It's okay. It fell on the floor.
There we go. Patrick's got it up. It's
There we go. There we go.
Hey, dice everywhere.
Lots of different dice. D4s. They're so spicy, and I love them, and they have rolled very well for me. I'm gonna go ahead and just scooch over and grab the D20 before somebody steps on it. That'll be me.
Better than the
Better than a die
D4.
for.
Okay, yeah, no, the D4 would literally go right into my foot, and I'd have to go to the hospital. It's that sharp.
Chekhov's gun is on the mantelpiece. Caustic's dice is on the floor.
Yeah, that is a no-go. The screaming that would be heard throughout my entire apartment if someone had stepped on those dice which are like dangerous. Like they're so good, but they're made of this resin, and they're
The
so
edges are
they're
so
s-
sharp.
they're so goddamn sharp. Don't slam your hand on dice in general, right? You wouldn't want to do that,
Mhm.
but definitely don't do it on Ryan's because they're so well
Nice to your
made.
dice.
Be nice to them, exactly. Roll them kindly, roll them nicely. Doesn't matter what comes up because there could always be a better result the next time. So thank you, Ryan, and thank you all of Grom's Bag of Holding. You will see the doobly-doo in the YouTube video below as to where you can go onto his Discord and purchase your own set of his dice. So I hope you guys are ready to start the Lost Worlds. Yes?
Hell yeah.
Before we
Yes.
get into getting back into things, I would like to take us on a little bit of a detour. How does that, is that okay
Okay.
with you folks? Is that okay?
Okay.
Is that all right?
I don't know.
We're here for the ride.
The detour is a fun detour, right? This is not a detour into bullshittery. This is a detour into fun. Why? Because we're going to make our own goddamn planet.
Ooh.
You mentioned this
Yes.
We are going to make our own planet. It's part of the building better worlds because we're going to build a better world right now, right here on stream.
Love it.
Let me switch us over to the main screen where you can see all these beautiful people's faces. And we're going to just, first I'm going to give you some music because who can't build a world without music, right? You need to have inspiration music. So let's go with this. This is nice. That's not creepy at all, right?
Totally not creepy.
Not creepy at all. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring you guys to the planet page, where you guys will see that there is a beautiful sort of graph here of all the different types of sort of associated attributes for a
You
planet.
take the players there too.
Yes. We could potentially, if things
Is
go...
that a map that you can take the players to or no?
Well, it's not. It is a... Wait, you guys don't see it? I'm sorry. Do you guys not see it?
We don't see it. That's
I
what
can
I
see
meant.
it.
You need to take the players there. I can't.
Oh, I
I can see it on.
I see it.
Yeah, you all should be on that
Let's see it.
page.
Oh, you're doing it in Zoom. I was looking in Roll20. Never mind.
No, it's in Roll20.
Wait, no.
No, it is in roll
Oh,
20.
it actually it just loaded. Okay.
Oh,
My Roll20 is lagging apparently.
It's
'Cause
okay.
I was just on the main loading page with all of our faces. Now I can see it.
It's
No
on my
problem.
internet.
no problem. Well, then if it's on your internet,
Damn it, Patrick, now we're screwed.
yeah. What we're gonna do
I'm the internet explorer of this campaign.
is build our own better world. The rules for the Alien RPG Building Better Worlds rulebook allow you to, of course, play through this campaign, but they also allow you as a game mother to make your own world and have horrible nightmares that occur upon it. So let's go ahead and do it. After all, you guys are colonists, or extrasolar planetary colonists. One would think that it's important to think about where of these particular colonies you may want to go. So let's build our own colony. This could be one of the 18. Who knows? So let's start with, I'm just going to go with each one of you to have you guys roll on a specific die. And then the randomness of your die roll will affect the material on this particular sheet. And at the end of which we will have a
I
planet
dig it.
that I don't even know what it may look like, but we'll see.
It's either gonna love us or hate us.
We probably the latter, but who knows? Okay.
Yeah, well.
Let's go with the first choice here. These are all, of course, going to be based on a D6 because everything in Alien RPG is D6 based. So what we're going to do is roll on certain tables to see what kind of a planet and star system that we will be making here. Or we can just simply select the results. They have tables, you can select them, but I thought it'd be fun to just make it fucking random as hell. Some results will bring modifications to subsequent rolls based on what we get. And you'll know what I mean when we get there. So let's start with the star around which this planet exists. Let's start with Julie. Julie, please roll me 2d6.
2d6 coming up.
Okay, a 9. So with a 9,
54.
yeah, it's actually it's not a d66. It's a 2d6.
Oh,
roll.
just 2d6.
Yep. So that is a single star system. There could be binary, there could be trinary systems, but in this case, this is a single star system. So I'm just going to change this to be single. It's single. It's looking to mingle. It's fine. All right. Next is going to be the star type. So those of you who may not have taken astrophysics or astronomy may know very little, but those of you who have taken those kinds of things or are star buffs or whatever it is, will know that the kind of star varies greatly within the galaxy. Some stars are hotter than others. Some stars are much bigger than others. So what I'd like to do is go next to... let's see, who is next? That is Ben. Ben, please also roll me a 2d6. That's a 4. Okay. So the star, the single star, is a giant. It's not a super giant, but it is a giant star. It could be blue, it could be white, it could be yellow, or it could be red. White and blue stars are the hottest. Red stars are actually the coolest. Our sun is a yellow star. It actually is hotter than a red, but not as hot as a white or a blue star. So you tell me what kind of, or what color giant star it is.
Oh, it's my choice?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let's see, you said white is right above yellow?
Correct.
Let's do white.
Okay. So this is going to be single white female. We're going to be making this. That's cool. Sorry about that.
Well.
Next thing that we're going to determine is the solar system composition. So, for example, there could be a certain amount of planets within the solar system. We're going to determine them individually. So we're going to just say a certain amount of gas giants, a certain amount of terrestrial planets, a certain amount of ice planets, and potentially a certain amount of asteroid belts. Now, this is determinant on the kind of star that it is. So, for example, if you have a white dwarf in the system, because a white dwarf star has a smaller, it's a smaller star. Its gravitational field is less, and so therefore you're going to have fewer gas giants. But if you have giants or supergiants, that will change the amount of terrestrial planets that you have in the system. All of this completely matches with actual astrophysics, which is something that's really fucking cool. So let's determine how many gas giants are in the system. For example, Sarah, please roll me just a d6.
Alrighty.
6. Okay, so there are 5 gas giants in the system.
Ew.
So we'll put 5. Okay, there are 5 gas giants. Now let's talk about terrestrial or rocky planets, right? Let's go to... Who's next? That is Marcus. Marcus, tell us... Roll another d6 for us, please.
Rolling.
Ooh,
Another
all 6.
Okay, so there are going to be...
Getting them all out of the way now, apparently.
Right, so because we have a giant, a white giant in the system, there are going to be 4, because it's d6 minus 2, terrestrial planets. So there are going to be 4 terrestrial planets, or rocky planets, in this system. This is a pretty large solar system, it seems.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the icy planets, right? Patrick, go ahead and roll me a d6, please.
Uno.
Okay, so it's just one icy planet or gas giant moon. It's essentially just either a big moon or a single ice planet. And now let's go back to Julie. Julie, go ahead and tell me how many asteroid belts. Go ahead and roll me a d6, please. Again,
1.
a 1. Okay, so there's just one big ol' asteroid belt. Okay. Looking good so far here, folks. Let's determine within this solar system that we've created the position of this planet that you guys will be using to potentially survey or even colonize. So let's go now to the next person on the list. That's Ben. Ben, go ahead and roll me 2d6. 4. Okay. Based on that, Ben, the planet that we're looking to have our colony on is going to be the outer moon of one of these gas giants.
Ah, okay. Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I'm going to put that into the thing. It's going to be the outer moon. Let's see if I can find out where that is.
Surveyed planet position is right next to parent star.
Yes, thank you. So outer moon gas giant. Make that a little smaller. Beautiful. Okay. The next thing that we're going to go with is the planet's size. Oh, sorry, the radiation. So some planets, of course, fall within the radiation field of their host star or of the gas giant. In this case, it seems pretty likely that because this is an outer moon of a gas giant, we may get some more radiation from that gas giant than we would if we had, this being some other planet in a different place. So, with that said, go ahead, Sarah, and roll me 2d6. 6. Okay. So, with that, technically speaking, luckily enough, there is no radiation on this planet.
Nice.
Even with the additional
Let's fucking go.
exactly, because God knows radiation is not our friend in this game.
No, it is not.
It fucked us up
Life's hard
hardcore in the
enough.
last one. Okay. Thank you, Sarah. Moving on, and this is going to be Marcus's roll. Marcus, go ahead and roll me for the planet size, 2d6.
6 again.
You guys are just getting 6s and 1s and 6s and 1s.
I know.
It's cool. It's fine.
Totally fine.
This one is... Okay, so the planet size for this one, let me just make sure if this was modified by anything else. -2, actually. This is going to be outer moon, so it's actually going to be a 4. Because this is the outer moon of a gas giant, it's not a 6, it's a 4, which means that it's 4,000 kilometers in diameter. 4,000 kilometers. Because of the size of this planet, we are going to get a -3 on our atmosphere roll. So remember that for the next person, whoever rolls it, we can just subtract 3 from your roll. And when we get to gravity, because it's a smaller planet, we're going to remove 0.5 G from that gravity roll. Okay. So who's next in the rolling? It looks like it's Patrick. Patrick, roll me for the next thing, which is the atmosphere. 2d6.
11 minus 3 is 8.
8. Okay. That is going to make the atmosphere breathable. Holy
This is madness.
shit.
I did done good on the thing.
No radiation? Breathable
breathable
atmosphere? What's happening?
They didn't train no
It's gonna
fools at
be-
Sir Peter Whalen's Academy for Exploration.
It's going to be like all rock and no water.
I mean, just remember, planets...
Space hugger everywhere.
planets
Lots
that...
of eggs. Lots of eggs to eat.
They support
Plants.
life, right?
Lots of plants that want to eat you.
Let's go with the climate. Let's go back to the start with Julie. Julie, let's roll a 2d6 for the climate. 10. Now, because we had a outer moon of a gas giant, we're going to subtract 2, minus 2 on this roll, which makes it an overall an 8. So the climate for this particular planet is hot. It's a hot planet. This is 31 to 60 degrees Celsius.
Ooh, balls.
This is a hot planet. This is a
Oh, yeah.
flippity-flopping hot planet.
We all gonna get a tan.
29 palms.
Which, because it's a hot planet, it's going to be a minus 2 on the amount of water, or the hydrosphere roll. So for our next roll, which is going to be Ben, subtract 2 from your hydrosphere roll. See how this all works out, folks? Like something adds or subtracts to the next roll or to a later roll. I love that about this system. So
2d6?
2d6, Ben. 7 minus 2 is a 5. Okay. So the hydrosphere, unfortunately, because it's such a hot planet, it's a dry heat, though. It's it's an arid
Heat.
It's man,
it's
but it's a
fucking
dry
desert.
heat. It's arid. There's only trace water, underground, or permafrost.
Where the fuck did they pick this thing?
Listen, breathable air is hard to come by sometimes, right?
Yeah.
So you're saying we're gonna be moisture farmers?
We're gonna be Fremen.
Fremen, yes.
So you're
It could
telling
Still
me
be.
there's-
suits for
There's a
everyone.
chance, exactly. Catalia 80 just made a
Tashi
direct, yes, it's Tatooine. We're going to make a direct Celsius to Fahrenheit conversion. That is 87 degrees
Yeah.
at the coolest, up to 140 degrees in the hottest parts of this planet.
Oh, that's
I
Kuwait.
also
It's
I
Kuwait?
also put
Jesus.
that in Roll20 chat.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much. Appreciate you.
Love you, Catalia.
It's a hot planet, a desert planet. We've just found Arrakis, folks. Here we go.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. We're on Arrakis. Bring on the sandworms.
Let's see how much of Arrakis this really is. Let's go with the day length, like how long a day lasts. I think, Ben, you were the last one who did it, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so Sarah, go ahead and roll me 2d6, please.
Oh god, I apologize
Oh,
in
Lord
advance,
have
everybody.
mercy. No.
Xenomorph sandworm? What the fuck? Guys
I
are
love
just
it.
looking for death.
Why can't I type it?
4. Okay, a
Minus
4.
something?
Nope, no minus.
Oh, thank God.
This is just the day length, right?
Oh, boy.
This is a very
Oh, no.
short day.
I was gonna say this is bad. Actually, no, this is good. That means it's cold. It's not as hot all the time.
Oh, I'm so sorry. 4, correct? You said 4, right?
Yeah,
It's actually an
4.
Earth-like day. It's an
Oh.
Earth-like day. So it's 3d6 times 2 hours. Please roll me 3d6. Let's see how many hours it actually is.
Okay. Let's see. 10, 20.
So it's a 20-hour day. Not bad. Now, let's find out if this particular planet has an orbital period, meaning how long it takes to go around once around their particular star. So this is actually going to be a D66 roll in days. This is... actually, wait a minute. Let's just make sure here. Yeah, this is a planet that's sort of in the middle... Yeah, it's in the middle of one of the gas giants. So it's a moon
It's
and one of
where-
the gas... One of the moons
It's a
of
moon of
gas.
a gas giant.
Yeah. So you can actually, we can determine here. It actually doesn't give you a table. What it does is it says decide how long the planet's year will be in days. The closer the planet is to the star, the shorter the orbital period. Makes sense, right? Or just roll. D66 in days for planets close to the star, D66 times 10 for mid-range planets, and D666 times
Wow.
10 for distant planets. This is actually the moon of a gas giant, so it's actually just going to be orbiting the gas giant and not the star.
But it's orbiting the gas giant, which orbits the star.
Correct.
It's still getting its light from the star.
Fair
so
enough.
It's still a year in that respect. I feel like gas giants are usually mid-belt, right? Like they're
Yeah.
usually
I would say so. So let's determine.
because they're bigger, so it takes more
Let's
gravity
just-
to pull them towards, but they don't go as far.
So let's just call this gas giant in the middle of the solar system, right? So D66 for the number of days, and that is going to go to. I guess that's
Mid-range is D66 times 10, right?
Yes, times
Yes.
10. That's correct.
Yeah.
So, Patrick, roll me d66.
Yar.
Okay, times 10. So it's
130 days.
130 days. That's just for the
These
gas
planets
giant.
spinning fast.
The gas giant's going around that star pretty fast. And because it's a moon, it says you can roll 3d6 days for the actual moon to go around the gas giant, right? So it
Which
takes...
will
Yeah, go ahead,
tell
Patrick.
us where the giant is in our
Exactly.
vision when we're on the surface.
So,
That
Patrick,
makes
roll me
sense.
3d6,
So
please.
we're more of a necktie than a belt.
Yeah,
Around
Patrick,
the solar
oh,
system.
3d6? 11. Okay.
11.
Cool. All right, so let me see if I can do that. Okay, the orbital period is 130 days.
Everybody's spinning quickly.
11 days for the moon.
The gas giant kids grow up so fast these days.
Okay. All right, let's go with a couple more tables here, folks. We're getting through it.
Man, that would suck for werewolves living in this colony.
Yes, there are definitely. It would just be like,
Every 11 days, man.
yeah, it's. Yeah,
Well, if you're on the moon, though, aren't you just always
But
a werewolf?
because the moon is still not always full. Maybe it depends. You have to like just keep moving around the moon, so you're always on the dark side.
Back to Julie. I'm going to ignore this conversation entirely. Julie, give me a D66 roll. What we're going to actually no, I beg your pardon. We're going to do first the global. No, we're going to do the axial tilt first. The axial tilt of a planet makes a big difference to the severity of its seasons. In this case, it could be that maybe, just maybe, it gets a little cooler or even hotter, depending on how like the actual planet's tilted. So give me a 2d6 roll, please. 5. Okay, with 5, let's see if that affects the axial tilt in any way. No, nothing else is affected here. So there is no seasons to this planet. It is tidally locked to the gas giant below it. So there are no seasons. It's just 30 degrees centigrade the whole frickin'
All
time.
the time. Perma-summer.
No axial tilt.
Oh boy.
Oy.
Oy. Let's check something else here. Climate radiation. Oh yeah. Let's do it. Global feature. Every planet has a long history and a story to tell. These manifest in a global feature. Man, this table's so good. That makes the world stand out. Ben, roll me 2d6, please. 4. Cool. Guess what, folks? You have an abundant and complex biodiversity.
Sandworms.
Thanks, my mama says that all the time.
You say that to all the girls.
I won't say it's sandworms. Gonna mess up my hair, but it's sandworms, right?
Sandworms.
It's sandworms.
I feel like it has to be canon that at least one person in the party has read Dune.
It's possible if this even is like a thing. Okay.
Dune, what a
That
classic.
one,
in
the space
year
drug baby drinks
2185.
their own pee.
Yeah, they basically filter in.
Mhm,
Yeah.
That's the one, yeah.
That size. Was there gravity on here? Where's the gravity? I don't see the
It's
gravity.
underneath size.
Is it underneath
It's
size?
Blank.
Underneath size to the left of climate.
Oh no! I mean like
Left.
to build your own.
in the
in the
I'm
book.
Not looking at that.
I know.
I'm not looking at the
Planet
For
size.
once,
atmosphere,
I'm
planet
not
position,
looking at
Red
the book.
platinum is
planet.
red platinum.
Is it
just said,
Australia?
Is this Australia
Oh.
the planet?
Is it Australia the planet? Maybe. Let's go with regional terrain. No planet worthy of colonization consists of just one feature that covers the entire surface, nor does it have a uniform distribution of natural resources. To reflect this, every planet is divided into 7 regions: North Pole, Northern Hemisphere, East and West, Equator, Southern Hemisphere, East and West, and South Pole. We're going to be rolling on these tables for each of these regions. So each of you will have a chance to make a specific regional terrain.
Nice.
Because these regional terrains will affect the amount of potential resources that we will want to mine or plunder, shall we say, or benefit from in a nice way. Some of these things will give us a negative resource modifier, some will give a positive resource modifier, right? So let's just go through it. Let's start North Pole and go clockwise. If there is a positive resource potential, I will just mark it off with a little thing in the middle there with like a 1. So let's start with the North Pole. Who was last? It was Ben. So therefore, Sarah, you're next. Go ahead and roll me D66.
Well, I'm going to roll it as 2d6, otherwise it might roll.
That's
below.
fine. That's fine.
26.
26. All right. So this is going to be, and we're going to try to not like repeat if we can. Deep and wide rift valleys. So the we're talking like the big old canyons on Tatooine. Resource potential modifier -1. That's okay. So the North Pole, deep and wide rift valleys, -1 resource. Let's go with the Northern Hemisphere East. So that is going to be Patrick. I'm sorry, not Patrick. Marcus. Marcus, D66 roll.
50.
50. All right, here we go. That is... Why is it not giving me 50? Oh, you know why, Marcus?
Why?
Well, that doesn't make any sense.
There should still be a 50.
No, because you can't roll a 0 on a 6-sided die. So just roll 2 d6s.
Yeah.
We're going to ignore the 50. 13. 13 is going to be extensive deserts. Imagine that. This is on brand. All right. And this is also
Game
going
writes
to...
itself, really.
It does. It really does. This is a -2 modifier for resources. This planet doesn't have a fucking ton of resources. I'm not going to lie here.
Let's not land there.
I'm telling you, there's gold under them there sandworms.
Southern Hemisphere.
Gold from all the teeth that they've eaten.
Exactly, that's true. Patrick, roll me D66 roll for the Southern Hemisphere East.
Do you want me to roll another 2d6?
2d6.
Yes, 2d6, yeah.
Thank you.
There is a D66 roll on the sheet, folks, in case you were wondering.
Now, I did get a 10, though.
Yeah, but
Oh,
that
'cause it
actually
doesn't give you the
added your
Right.
2d. You actually
It's
got
actually
46.
46, right? 4
46.
and a 6, right? So a 46, rough terrain, permanently overcast with persistent rain. What?
Okay.
That's
Weird
interesting.
Planetary fluke.
That's
Go home,
weird.
planet, you're drunk.
Go home, planet, you're drunk.
Somebody's terraformer is malfunctioning there from one of the lost colonies.
I think that's very possible. This is 0 resource, so this is just a +0 to the resource.
It's the best we've done so far.
I know. It's hot as fuck, except where it's not.
Except for what? I mean, it's still hot. It's a warm rain.
It's so warm, it just like evaporates as soon as
It's
it hits the ground.
It's like taking a shower all day.
You ever been in a place where it's 87 degrees and raining? That's fucking
Yes.
weird.
Yes.
Yeah. Maryland in the summer.
Oof. Sorry.
I
Sounds-
like warm rain.
It's moist.
Ugh. Warm rain is like you're bathing in pee. All right. South Pole time. Let's go with who's next.
It's a wet heat.
It's a wet heat. It's a dry heat everywhere except where it's a wet heat.
Except for it's a wet.
Let's go back to
That's
Julie.
why it's dry everywhere else.
Moist heat.
This is really, we're going in the wrong direction here. Julie, save us. South Pole, D66.
35.
35.
35.
35. Disturbing wind-cut rock formations. Interesting.
I'm sorry,
is
it
on
was
brand,
the
both-
Wayu beans.
Both poles sound like places we don't want to go. So that
This
tracks.
actually is a +1 to resources, because it could
Ooh.
very well
God
be
damn
that
it.
within those rock formations, there could be mineral deposits, there could be a variety of different things. It could be also where the life has made have made their hives or homes.
filtering.
Right? All right. Moving on. Ben, give us some Southern Hemisphere West D66 roll, please.
All right.
52.
That's promising. One can hope.
These are, for some reason, now I don't think this is actually specifically in the water, but it says volcanic island chains. So I'm thinking that they're actually sort of like chains of volcanoes that have erupted from like the bare bedrock itself.
Or it could look like dried up ocean where there may have been groundwater there once. And there's sort of like the remains of what was once an ocean bed that now just has these volcanic masses that are like sort of straight at they're huge because they used to poke above the water, but now there's no more water.
I like that idea. Very cool.
Like absolutely massive, like Everest-sized volcanoes.
Ooh, more resources.
More resources. That's a +1 resource. Volcanic areas. Surprisingly, lots
Rich
of
in minerals.
rich in minerals. Lots of the soil around it very, very fertile.
Excellent for growing grapes.
Indeed. Okay, and then second to last, Northern Hemisphere West. D66 roll, please, and that will be from Sarah.
Yeah, ready? 10?
55.
No, 55.
55.
God damn it.
55. That is a
55.
These are, and I don't know how water is going to be able to be very plentiful here, but steep-sided river gorges. So again, I think this is kind of like the kind of thing where it's like a Mars, where you had water at one point in time.
It's the Grand Canyon.
Yeah, river gorges, steep-sided river gorges. This is going to be a -1 resource. Okay, and then finally, our equator. That is for Marcus to decide. Marcus, D66 roll. 64.
64.
Ooh.
Oh my god! This is the weirdest thing I've ever seen. In the middle of the equator of this planet, there are giant icebergs of water or some other element. Some other
It's gotta be some
element.
other element.
Planets,
Something with an insanely high freezing point.
planets are weird, man. This is weird. But again,
I like it.
-2,
Like black goo.
some other element.
Oh god, icebergs of black goo.
Oh god, that's fucked up. I love it. I'm gonna do it. That's a -2 resource potential. Now, the resource potential of each region will help hinder establishing a colony and will modify any prospecting that takes place. For each of these regions, we're gonna roll another 7d6s, and we're going to modify the tens die by the resource roll modifier of that terrain. Does that make sense?
Ooh.
So this means that the actual resources could very well be great or not so great, depending on the resource potential in each region. And then we're done with our planet, folks. How's that, Fetch?
We haven't
Works.
done the gravity.
Oh, that's true. Where is the gravity? Let me check this out. Is it on here? I'm hoping it is. Day length, hydrosphere, global feature, star type, system star. Where's the gravity? I'll find it later. Where's the gravity? Maybe they forgot to put it in here.
Moon bouncing Xeno.
I was like, because
space
it's going
work.
to be very entertaining to see what the
No.
gravity is like, or if we're all just like
Bouncy,
walking
bouncy,
golf balls
bouncy.
off the planet.
It doesn't seem to have gravity. Oh. It has a personality. We didn't roll on the planet personality, which I think we should do after we do the
Oh,
resource
yeah.
potential. Let's do that after we do the potential for resources, because who knows what you'll want to
Outgoing,
do.
but slightly narcissistic.
Let's do the resource potentials for these different areas here. Let's start with the North Pole. So these are all going to be D66s. Let's just make our way here. Who was last? This was
I was.
You were okay. So Patrick, D66. Let's just jam through these, right? So Patrick, Julie, D66.
64.
Yep, we're gonna just jam through 7 of these things.
Yep.
Ben, D66. Okay, then Sarah, D66. That's 4 of them so far. Then Marcus, D66. The same? What the hell,
Oh.
guys? Re-roll that one, Marcus. We
They
don't want
might
the
have
same.
different modifiers, though.
Let's just roll it. What the hell? Let's try it.
It's our stream. We can do what we want.
We could do I won't.
Whatever.
Patrick, D66. This is the 6th one, if I count correctly.
You are. I'm keeping track for you.
Yep.
I rolled a 64 already. Hold on.
There you
There we
go.
go. 35.
35, and then the last will be Julie. Okay, so let's start at the top. 64. So that's Julie with an 11. So for the North Pole, the resource
Wait, no,
potential.
wasn't Beaucephus with a 64 the first one?
I thought Julie was.
Yes.
Yeah, I was first.
He was first.
My fault. 64. Beg your pardon. So the North Pole with a 64. Oh, the
Now
resource
54.
potential. The resource potential is superb. That's plus
with the-
2.
Is that with the -1?
So
or
it
is the -1?
so -1 plus +2. It's just a single +1. So that's
Oh,
the
I
whole.
thought you said the. I
So-
think you said the minus went on the tens die of the D66 roll.
Oh, that's actually a good point. Yes, you're right. I messed
Does that
up.
make it 54?
So it does make
So
it
makes
54. You're right. So a 54 is still good. So it's actually +1. So I'm just going to change this to be good +1.
Nice.
Now, the next one after Patrick,
Is 56.
56.
Yes.
And this is a -1 or a plus? What's the
Minus
the
2, so that makes it a 36.
36? This is average. +0. The region seems reasonable, maybe worth exploring.
That's the extensive deserts. I feel like that tracks.
Yes. Let's go with the southern hemisphere. Who was that with?
That was Ben, and it was a 63.
Okay, and so is it a plus or -1?
It's a 0, so it stays at 63.
63? That's good. That's +1. So this is a rich region. The land looks promising. Okay. South Pole. What's that one?
Was me 41 plus 1, so 51.
That's also good. The region is rich, also looks very promising. South Pole looks good, guys.
Interesting.
Southern Hemisphere West.
Is another 40. Oh, wait, no, you went
25.
again, sorry. 25 plus 1, so 35.
That's
35.
average. Reasonable, possibly worth exploring.
Makes sense for volcanoes.
For volcanoes, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. For like Everest-sized volcanoes. There might be some good
yeah.
shit in that old seabed.
Toss the kid in, see what happens.
I like the way you thinking, Julie. Steep-sided river gorges. What's that one?
35 minus 1, so 25. I'm guessing that's bad.
It's poor. It's -1. Resources rare, probably low in quality.
No, isn't that 64 minus?
You remember you
If you rolled
re-rolled because
again.
you'd already
want
rolled
the
a
same.
64
Oh,
earlier.
you're right. No, you're right.
And then
Okay,
last but not
yeah,
least,
I didn't scroll down.
the weirdest of all the different regions, the equator, giant icebergs of water or some other element. Go ahead.
51 minus 2, so 31.
So that's average. You guys,
31 is average? Okay.
yeah, 31 is average. So there we go, folks. There's our planet. I'll figure out the gravity later, if I can find it somewhere. I don't know where the gravity is in the better. I just may have missed the table, but
But she needs a personality.
she does need a personality. Who was last? Who's last?
I was.
Julie.
Julie, Ben, go ahead and roll me a D66, please. Let's see what the
All right.
personality of this planet is.
Snarky.
Could very well be. The personality of
She's
this
such a
planet
bitch.
is mischievous. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, that tracks.
I don't know.
Guys,
why.
we found a Fey portal. It's a planet.
There we go.
Oh boy.
Do we want to name this planet? Let's give it a name.
Whimsy.
I was like, everything that's popping into my head is like super sarcastic, and I'm trying to come up with something that's not.
Most of the
Why?
solar systems are named with a specific like number and letter combination, like LV426, et cetera, for example. So this solar system and the planet that surrounds it could be akin to that, or it could be just like John's planet, Like they've done that before, right? So this could be any one of those.
Y'all, does anyone remember what year Shakespeare was born?
1564.
Ooh.
Okay. OB 1664.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay, I see you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Appreciate that.
Nice pull.
OB 1664. There we go, folks. OB 1664 lives. Goodness knows what will happen upon it through this campaign. So that was pretty fun.
Nice. Yeah.
Now it's time to get back on track.
Now we roll a d7 to see which one of these zones we crash land in, guys. Let's go.
Where are we gonna die?
You can choose. It looks to me, just based
I'm
on
joking.
where you could potentially, get some decent possible colony positions. Looks like the North Pole, the South Pole, or the Southern Hemisphere
Or
East.
Southern East, yeah.
Yeah.
Like at least if we're in Rainland, then we can make evaporating water catchers to catch that rain and have drinking water.
Right.
I could
So
probably rig something on the side of the tractor and just constantly have it catching and filtering into the tanker.
There you go. I like it.
Miracle mechanic, just whack it with the wrench, Fonzie style.
let's talk about what happened in session 0 of
You said we'd never talk about that.
I know we did. We did,
What
but
happened in session 0?
I had my fingers crossed behind my back. I'm
You
sorry.
son of a bitch.
No,
I'm
made
dead.
of lies.
I am
That's
I am made of lies. And that's why I'm such a great DM. No, I'm just kidding. Let's go with some music. Let's go with this music. Because I need to tell you what happened. And if I can't tell you what happened, then what good am I at all? Previously, on our session 0 of The Lost Worlds, in the latter half of the 21st century, the rise of privatized space travel and the overwhelming power of megacorporations controlling Earth's assets and peoples meant that extrasolar worlds could finally be reached, colonized, and plundered for their vast wealth and resources. Millions of people from the varied geopolitical groups around the world exploded outward to the far spinward area of the galaxy, looking for a new home and the promise of a better tomorrow. In the year 2110, however, a number of catastrophic cosmic events took place that cut off these colony worlds from the rest of the galaxy. With all contact lost with the far spinward colonies, exploratory scout vessels, such as the infamous ship the Cronus, which you may remember, were sent to investigate. However, after 3 years, such ships were listed as missing. And by 2113, the far spinward colonies were declared lost. In the year 2182, an ambitious expedition was created to search for these colonies, lost nearly a century ago. Their goal? Find these colonies, make the people safe, recolonize the sector, and bring all of them back into the embrace of human society. Arising from the efforts and funding of a multinational, multi-corporate conglomeration, this expedition was known as the Great Mother Mission. The mainstay of those part of this mission are blue-collar, salt of the earth, hard-working types. They understand hardship, challenge, loss, and also know what it takes to succeed and to survive. The 5 colonists in our story, each with their own personal stories to tell, have boarded the shuttle to the massive colony ship called the Ianla. A ship that will make the multi-year extrasolar voyage to the far spinward colonies with thousands of potential colonists in cryosleep aboard. Once these 5 have boarded the Ianla, they will then transfer, after their trip, to the scientific exploration vessel known as the Solovetsky Island, which will traverse the vast gulf of space to find and reconnect with these colonies. As they boarded the ship, they learned of their new crewmates and each other, and then, one by one, fell into the deep darkness of hypersleep. What lies beyond may be worse than they could have ever imagined, because in space, no one can hear you scream. And that's where we begin tonight. Just a great, happy game. So
uplifting intro.
so
So bright and cheerful.
Positive, so positive.
Great time to be alive.
It is. I'm going to bring you now from this OB1664 map to the map of the far spinward colonies, which is probably different if you're used to the galaxy map, the star map of what was before the map of the known territories and all of the different striations of the UPP and the United Americas and the Three World Empire and all that jazz. Here, there is no such striation because we are beyond those groups. We are beyond the beyond. We are now in the spinward colonies. Can you guys all see this map?
It's going to reload my roll 20. Oh, there we go.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Okay.
My roll 20 is just being hella slow tonight.
Fair enough. So you will see a map of dozens and dozens of stars, some of which have designations to them, which were the last known designations of the 12 to 18 colonies that were created by those colonists that left Earth approximately 100 to 150 years ago. You will see such names as Gorham's Colony, or Nightingale Colony, or Pelican Colony, January Outpost, Archimedes Colony, etc., etc., etc. When you have come out of hypersleep, you are essentially in the midst of all of them. The indicator for your ship, the US CSS Ianla, is going to be this icon here. It is the UN icon, which is the, sorry, I beg your pardon. It is the, I think it's the UNIS, International Space, or International Services.
Something like that, yeah.
I believe I think it's the UNIS token, or UNIS symbol. I could be wrong, but I'm gonna
roll with it.
I'm gonna roll with it. I'm gonna fail to correct myself.
Interstellar Settlement Cores, ISC.
Thank you, Patrick. Quick on the Google. UNISC. That is the logo for it. So, as you, all of you, groggily rub your eyes as the material that has put you to hypersleep has begun to wear off, you're all coming to terms with the fact that you've lost 2 years of your life. Tell me, how do you feel? And
Same
please,
as yesterday.
please,
Mostly dead.
yeah.
You've been
This is
mostly
for-
dead all day.
This is for posterity, so please, what's the line? This is for posterity, so please, God damn it, somebody who knows the Princess Bride better than I do. God damn it.
Do go into
Oh.
detail.
Yeah, please do go into detail. Something like that. Somebody should
I
know.
am the brute squad.
Look it up, Patrick. It's fine. Okay. The last thing that you remember is one of these working Joes, who you found was called Miss Sophie, saying to you all one by one, eerily looking down at you, the two words, "Sleep well." And 102 weeks and 5 days later, and thousands of Wayu dollars banked already for all of you, if you consider yourself paid during sleep time, because now you're getting paid even though you're sleeping. Hey, I mean, this is the way to make a living if you're just sleeping off the cash, right? Well, you think that, at least, until the world spins and you hear the sound of the cryotubes sort of like beginning to whine, and you hear the sound of it just sort of like where is it? Here it is. You hear the sound of the cryotube bays opening up, and your eyes are blurry, and all of you need to make a stamina roll.
Oh boy.
Starting off strong here, folks. 1 success. 2 successes.
Fuck yeah.
Kids. No successes, no successes. And did I get everybody?
Did mine roll?
No, not yet.
No.
Go into the main screen and click the little no mod, like OK with 0 modifiers. There's a pop-up.
And Sarah should get a stun.
It was.
Yeah.
They're behind.
I
Sarah-
don't think there are stunts on stamina rolls,
That's
but I'll double check.
a possibility.
I will look right
Give
now.
a 6 +1. Don't need to re-roll or impress.
Nice.
I'm on the ball. It's so nice to be back in Aliens.
I'm gonna
I got all my tabs set up.
I did know mine. I'm gonna do +1 to a later roll. I don't know any of you well enough to want to help you. Sorry.
+1 to a later roll. Cool.
Yep.
All right, so a few of you have no successes. Unfortunately, you won't be able to push these just because you're coming out of hypersleep. So those of you who succeeded, feel a little woozy, feel a little dizzy. Those of you who did not succeed, you feel extremely nauseous. And hypersickness kicks in, and for the next 20 minutes, you wish you were dead. So roleplay it as you would like, folks.
Where's the coffee?
Dot was really creeped out by the Miss Sophie saying good night, so she literally wakes up out of hypersleep like, what the fuck? And then kind of looks around, checking to see if anybody noticed her, and kind of like shakes it off and goes back to being aloof. And like climbs out of the pod and just starts looking for her shit.
Yep.
Bo would also like to go looking for coffee if we can.
You may find it sooner rather than later.
Fantastic. Thermos or coffee pot?
Well, it would be in the mess hall.
It's fine. Just throw in my boxers.
Any of the rest of you want to tell us how you feel?
Chesterton throws up in his cryo chamber.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Starting off strong, Marcus. Starting off strong.
Yeah.
Cool. Savage, Murphy?
Oh, definitely rolling out of it. Like, I hate this part, and then heading straight for the chow hall, looking for coffee. Caffeine fixes everything.
Murphy looks more pale than she did when she got in. From translucent to green and back again. But she holds her composure and just moves real slow at first. Gets herself dressed and pulls herself together. Puts a smile on her face as if everything's great. But the color of her skin is a little telling. The lack of speed to her movement. Though still graceful, it's definitely slowed.
Okay. Eventually, those of you who are in search of caffeine or similar medications to your system find it. You rejoin the rest of the crew that you know of. Of course, there are the 5 of you, but there are also the other 6 individuals who you met on the trip here those 2 years ago. There is Tal Blatchman. Sorry, not Tal Blatchman. His name is Tan Blatchman. He's actually from the ICC. He's the inspector for the ICC. And he's kind of like a rules and regulations guy. He's a little bit of a stickler, a little bit of a stick in the mud, but he doesn't like it. He doesn't like Weyland-Yutani very much. You remember that.
Mm.
Then there is Davor Koblenz. Davor Koblenz has a beard and wears sunglasses. He has a bald pate. He has a very thick Eastern European accent. He can't stop talking about the UPP and how the UPP is basically the savior of all humankind. And feels that he just can't wait for the UPP to take over. Then there, of course, is Lakota Monroe. Now, Lakota Monroe has a very prominent Maori tattoo on her lip and her chin. She has a sort of a, I guess you could call it a Polynesian, or maybe even like, what's the best way? Sort of like an accent that is it's very similar to like Polynesian or like New Zealand accent. I'm gonna mangle it horribly, but I'll do my best. And you remember that she almost got into a fight with somebody on the actual trip over, someone who seems to be a military person herself, and that is security. A security individual, a security chief, I guess, of the ship, and her name is Hamida Amir. Hamida Amir seems to have been a Royal Marine. I think that she talked with your character, Ben, about it as well.
Yes, she did.
Yeah. So she was part of the Royal Marine, which was actually the Three World Empire. If you remember, the Three World Empire is made up of Great Britain and several other countries, like Japan, I think, is one of them. But they were founded sort of coming out of Weyland's success in the early 21st century. So there seems to be some kind of contention between Amir and Monroe. Rounding out the last 2 folks, we've got Emily Quintana. Emily Quintana seems to be of Latina descent. She is wearing always, constantly, a sort of a broad-brimmed cowboy hat. She has a sort of a Texas drawl, and very laid back in general. Sort of doesn't really give a shit about any kind of corporation, any kind of political bent. She's just there for the money, it sounds like. And then last but not least, we have Andy Dudge.
I was gonna say, where's Dudge?
Dudge, the lover of classical pop music from the 80s. A Brit from what we'd assume to be the part of the Three World Empire that was the United Kingdom. And sort of can't go 5 steps without talking about a variety of things from what he considers to be the best era in pop music ever, the era between 1979 and 1989.
Oh, I will rickroll that guy.
Please do so. So those are the 6 individuals that are part of the crew. Last but not least is a synthetic who you met when you first boarded the Ianla, and that is a synthetic who is part of the he's part of the crew, and seems to be your sort of attaché aboard the Ianla. His name is Gaius, and he is a Walter series synthetic. So beyond the 7 individuals who you have met and the 5 of you, you haven't really met anybody else. Now, you've heard of other people. The person who's sort of running the show here aboard the Ianla is a chap by the name of... Where is he? Here he is. Governor... Where is he? Governor Kolwa Abantu. Kolwa Abantu is a relatively famous guy. He's the guy who's basically put this whole mission together. He's a bureaucrat within the United Nations, and he's kind of overseeing all of it. Seems like a nice guy. Doesn't seem like too much of a prick. But, yeah. You see him with a cluster of individuals, bureaucrats, scientists, and other sort of high-ranking officials of both government agencies as well as corporations, which have been allowed to come along as representatives of their own particular companies on the mission itself. So you see people from Hyperdyne, and you see people from Omnitech, and you see people from the Three World Empire, you see people from the UA, you see people from Kelland Mining. All of these are individuals that represent their own particular interests, of course, in recolonizing these worlds. We just got a raid from Maestria Nord. What's happening, Maestria Nord? Welcome back. Hope you guys enjoy the show. Any questions from my people here before we move on?
So is this is a massive dining hall with like everyone on the ship waking up from cryo?
Hundreds of people. Now you have to remember that
ostensibly my uncle is in this room somewhere.
Possible. It depends if he's is he a member of the crew of any of these scientific exploration vessels? Remember that there are 4 of them.
Yes, he's an ISIC guy. ISCC, the Interspace Commerce Commission.
Yes.
Yeah. He's the one that pulled the strings to get me on this ship and going where I'm going.
Okay. If that's the case...
I didn't flush out what his role is, but when I got on, I asked about him and was told he was already in cryo.
Yeah. I don't know. We could potentially make it that he's part of the other crews. There are 4 UNCSS scientific exploration vessels. There's the one that you are crewing, which is the Solovetsky Island. Then there are 3 others. There's the UNCSS Umsidisi. There is the UNCSS Chimata no Kami. And then there's the UNCSS Typhoon. So, ostensibly, he could be part of the crew of any one of those other ships, depending on what he's good at. Like, what are his credentials? What abilities and talents does he bring to those particular crews?
Very good question. I didn't flush him out that hard, just that he was someone who was better off in life than we were. I think he's kind of like a company bureaucrat.
Cool. Maybe he's part of that crew simply because he is a company bureaucrat, company agent, so to speak. So let's put a pin in it.
Keeping an eye on shit for the Commerce Commission. Okay.
Let's put a pin in it, and maybe we'll see him later in the campaign.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Matt, how do you spell the name of that overseer again?
Governor Kolwa Abantu. I will put it in chat. KHOLWA.
Ooh, I was so close.
Abantu. Kolwa Abantu. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. let's move on. So, any questions before we keep going? Super. An hour later, and you 5 are ready for the post-arrival briefing. You and the rest of the crew file quietly through the airlock, and reattach to this immense ship, the UNCSS Ianla. You have taken your seat in the spacious mess hall, getting yourself food, coffee, cornbread. It's always the cornbread.
It's good for you.
It's good for you. Eat it. Alongside your fellow
spongy.
pioneers. The room buzzes with conversation. 100 voices, all talking about the same thing. Have we arrived? What news from home? This coffee's still shit. It's been 2 fucking years. I wonder if my mom is still alive. Then you hear the overall banter around you starting to silence a bit. And you take that as a cue to shut the fuck up. You turn and you see that standing at a podium on one side of the mess hall is a tall, reedy man, dark skin, bright eyes, very nicely tailored UN uniform. And you recognize from the vids that this is Governor Kolwa Abantu. He stands and he raises his hands. Everyone starts to quiet down. And he says, "All right, everyone. All right. First, the good news. Yes?" And a couple people start to grumble. He says, "We have all arrived on the fringes of the far Spinward colonies without a hitch." And he smiles broadly, and there is a smattering of applause. He says, "Home is now more than 30 parsecs behind us." People sort of mutter under their breath. But now, talking of home, I must, of course, let you know of the bad news. He sighs deeply and then raises his head. The United Americas and the Union of Progressive Peoples are at war. Fighting has broken out across the frontier, and hostilities are ongoing. Furthermore, the world of New Albion has broken away from the 3WE, and while there are no hostilities yet, some fear it may come to blows. But the political stupidities of our governments do not change the situation here. We are a United Nations expedition and have a mission to fulfill for the good of humankind. So, and he points out into the crowd, leave your petty political rivalries back in the Middle Heavens. He waits for any feedback. And talking of bad news, I must let you know that although we have arrived, we have unfortunately not picked up any signals as we hoped we had might. What this says about the fates of the people out here, we will not know until we explore. But as a precaution, for now, we will keep 2 of our scientific exploration vehicles with Ianla and send only 2, Typhoon and Solovetsky Island to reconnoiter the old colonies. To you, the crews of those 2 ships, I say to you, good luck. And please, be careful out there. He smiles, nods, and steps down from the podium. For a moment, there's silence. Do you folks say anything to yourselves about this news?
I expected worse.
Patrick, his thoughts. I'm not sure Bo does.
Dot is sitting there and she's kind of staring at the ceiling because she's trying to figure out whether or not she got the short end of the stick. Is it better to be going out and doing something, or is it better to stay here where it's safe? And she's kind of sitting there and she's like, she literally can't figure out if she's gotten screwed or not. But she's used to always getting screwed, so assumes that this is probably not. That it's probably the short end of the stick.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's just kind of like sitting there mulling that over as she like scoops cornbread in a spoon and lets it fall, and scoops it and lets it fall,
Okay.
and then realizes, holy shit, food, and then just starts chowing down.
Clark, Savage, Murphy.
It's
Go ahead.
Go ahead. It's not as bad as she thought it was going to be, honestly. She's like, at least all the ships survived getting here in the first place, so in her mind, it's everybody survived so far, so we'll see what happens with these planets, but fresh start for everybody. Might be a very, very fresh start with nothing here but what we brought, but in her mind, it could be worse.
Okay.
Chesterton he's been writing down lots of since he's been awake, and he has assigned a percentage to the 5 of us that represents chance of survival. He has now scratched out all of his original percentage chances of survival, and they're all significantly lower, and he is second to last to lowest chances of survival himself.
Nice. Who's lowest?
No, I really want to
Who's the
know
least?
In his mind, it's Dot.
That makes sense.
He grossly underestimates this child.
Speaking
Let's
of
hope
which,
so.
I love
I
the
hope
fact.
so.
I don't know if this was on purpose or not, Sarah, but like everyone else is like on stream, like in Zoom, everyone else is like grown up, like they look like about the same size head, and then there's Sarah, who's like, she looks like a little kid. It's amazing. It's great. Yeah, you look like a 14-year-old kid.
We're gonna pretend it was on purpose.
I'm going to take it as something that you did on purpose. So good job, Sarah. How about Savage? What is Savage thinking?
Oh, of course. I come out here and we get in a scuffle with the commies. That's the way it goes.
Right? Fucking UPP. Do you say any of this? Or do you just think it?
Oh no, he says it out loud.
Okay.
Oh God.
You say this out loud, and across the table from you, a couple of seats down, Koblenz stops eating, and he says, "What did you say?"
Oh, you heard me.
Oh, I heard you. I definitely heard you. I just do not believe that what you had said is something that I would actually not punch you in the fucking face for.
Go ahead. See what happens.
He drops his tray, and you hear a clatter, clatter, clatter on the floor. And at the same time, you begin to hear a variety of angry sort of yelling from across all of these 100 people. People are starting to get very, very upset. You see essentially just pandemonium starting to break out. Valentina Berezi of the United Americas, who you recognize as a high-ranking official within the UA, Savage, she leaps to her feet and she points her finger at a UPP general whose name is Nurlan Ozolinski, and she says, "We can never trust you, UPP bastards!" Ozolinski pulls himself up to his impressive height. He's tense, he's restrained. Others start to shout. Colonel Buston and Liana Younghee of the Three World Empire try to intervene until they fall into an argument about the New Albion Protectorate. Wayland Yutani director Kamal Vartuhi stands to one side, arms crossed, an onlooker, while Governor Abantu waves his arms in a futile attempt to restore peace. So, let's go, Ben. It looks like you're in a fight already, so let's make your character worthwhile here. Obviously, you don't have any weaponry, so this is all going to be close combat shit. So let's see what we can do here.
I'm
Go
gonna
ahead.
hit Dot. I'm gonna hit Dot on the shoulder and say, "I got $10 on Savage."
It's possible. Let's see.
Dot just looks down and goes, "Girls, you're both pretty."
All right.
Chesterton
then-
has changed Hank Savage's percentage to significantly lower than it was.
Okay.
Oh, I'm gonna love this, Marcus.
So, Ben, please roll initiative for Savage, and I will roll initiative for Koblenz. It's just a D10. We're looking for the lower number on these D10s.
Yeah.
Koblenz rolled a 9. You rolled a 5, so you're first.
Nice.
All right.
He drops his tray, he rolls up his sleeve, and it looks like he's about to pull back for a punch, but you get in faster.
Oh yeah, I'm just gonna straight go for the knockout, clock him in the jaw.
All right, give me a close combat roll, please. 1 success. Okay. So he is going to try to block that with a close combat. You begin to hear bells sort of roiling around the interior of the Ianla. He's going to try to block it with a close combat roll. He has to do more successes than yours or he can't block. He rolled 2 successes.
Oh,
Ooh.
So you throw a straight right, and he puts his elbow up in a for sort of almost Spetsnaz, like special forces kind of way, and bounces off of his arm and goes right past him. Okay?
I believe technically he gets stunned on
He
that?
does get a stunt, but we're going to waive stunts just because I want to keep things going, because I don't... NPCs
Fair.
and stunts, you know, bleh.
Fair.
So we're just going for until the first person who actually lands a punch, right? Koblenz reels back. Instead of punching, he throws like a full, just a teep, like a kick, right at your midsection. That is no successes. He just misses you entirely. It's your turn.
okay. All right. Taking another swing. Going for the headbutt.
Go for it. Whew, 2 successes. Okay. He's going to try to block that as well, or at least dodge out of the way. 1 success, not enough. So you hit him right in the face. You hear a he's like, "Argh!" And then he actually his sunglasses have broken and his nose is bleeding. He throws down his sunglasses on the ground and he is tackled by 2 UA representatives. You are as well grabbed by your arms by several individuals on the Ianla and sort of pulled away. I think, yeah, this is actually kind of funny. So who? Yeah.
Dot is literally just watching all of this and eating her cornbread. Like,
Amazing.
Unfazed. Completely unfazed by this shit.
Amazing.
Does she reach over and steal my cornbread?
It's up to
I
you.
condone.
Probably. Yeah.
Clark, an older woman, still fairly attractive, probably in her like early to mid 60s, sort of long, voluminous gray and white hair tied up in a ponytail. Sort of stoops over to you as you're writing down notes, and she says, Didn't think I'd have to rescue people from inside the mothership.
Yes, the chances seem increasingly slim.
She sort of squints at you and says, you are...
I am.
Name, sorry.
Yes, Chesterton. Chesterton Clark.
Chesterton Clark.
He looks down and he's doing math, so.
Gotcha. You assigned to one of these crews?
Yes. What's the name of our ship again?
The Solovetsky Island.
Yes, the Solovetsky Island.
Oh, interesting. Pleasure to make your acquaintance. My name is Electo Throop. Now, that last name, Throop, is one that you know. Throop is the name of a company, a very well-known company that does all of the salvage and rescue within the known galaxy. If this is the CEO or perhaps the president of that company, it does make sense, considering the length of time that Throop Salvage and Rescue has been around. It's been around for about 50 years. You wouldn't have expected that Electo Throop herself, however, would be part of this particular mission. But here she stands.
Do I know the name Electo Throop or just the name Throop?
I think that you would know Electo Throop. Yeah, she's relatively well known.
So I stop writing and I actually finally look up at her and I say, Electo Throop, as in Throop Salvage?
Yes, that's right.
I find it odd that you are here.
Oh, well, there's so many of us that are not beating the shit out of each other here. I mean, look over there. You got the general of the UPP, who's in a screaming match with one of the United America's representatives. Then you've got the Three World Empire just about to tear the face off of that one from the New Albion Protectorate. I mean, it's a giant clusterfuck. I love it, right?
Yes, it's rather barbaric.
Yeah. Interesting. Anyway, so it looks like you're one of the two ships going out.
Yeah, yes. We will be going out, as you say. Are you with one of the crews?
No, I've got my own fleet to worry about.
Oh. Of course. You're right.
Yeah, we
Apologies.
came along for the ride, in case we need to help salvage things. You know, the ships and all that other stuff.
What is this? Is this a? You said she. It's a female.
Yes, Electo is she's a female.
Well, ma'am, very nice to make your acquaintance, and good luck.
Yeah, that's my signal to get the hell out of here. She listens to all these bells that are ringing off. She says, "Just take care of yourself. This is a tempest in a teapot." And she walks away. Tucker, Dot, and Murphy, you guys see this just absolute hysteria of people yelling at each other and getting into each other's faces. In the case of Savage and of Koblenz, they literally, it came to fisticuffs. So how do you guys want to react to all this?
Other than putting money on it? I think it's really interesting that there seems to be a whole lot of talk of war going on, but not necessarily how we're supposed to prevent exactly this sort of thing from happening. What in the hell are we supposed to do exactly? Keep exploring and hope people are alive? Are we supposed to pick a side? Are we supposed to avoid certain lanes? What is the political move here? How are we supposed to remain neutral if people are starting fistfights?
Honestly, just let them beat each other up until they're tired and sleep it off. It's just like being drunk. They'll be fine in the morning.
Kid, how much do you know about being drunk exactly?
Grew up in a mining colony. This is like a typical Tuesday afternoon.
Do you want a beer?
It's a little early for me, but rain check on that. But no, she's just like,
Fair
she's
enough.
like, they're gonna punch each other until they fall asleep. Then they're gonna wake up and they're gonna remember that they were mad, and then they're gonna feel how much their jaw hurts, and they're gonna get over it.
Well, the good news is, if we are one of the first 2 ships out, that means we do potentially have first claim on any planet with land, which means it's a little bit more waybucks in our pockets, and that could work advantageously, is if all the gear is correct and if everything is up to shit. I haven't checked on this in at least 100 days. I gotta go check the mechanics on my ship. I think Bo is gonna go off and like make sure all the joints and the engine and all the things are tweaked and primed and ready to go.
Okay.
And
Works
as he
for me.
just wanders off, she's just like,
Actually,
"Bye."
yeah, I take it back. No, I should stay for the end of the fight because I put money on it. I'll do that after.
Well, they both just got held off by security, so
Yeah.
I feel like it was a wash.
I think that they got thrown in the brig is what happened, but
Yeah.
I mean, Ben is
The fight
literally
could keep
no
going.
longer there. So,
Come on, kid. Let's go see if they keep fighting in the brig.
Julie, do you have anything that you want Murphy to do?
She does not want to be a part of any of these fights, so she grabs her cup of tea, not coffee, and grabs a little something off of the tray, and then she'll basically just get out of the way. She doesn't know what is needed of her right now, so she's just going to move to a corner, a wall, where she can watch and observe, but not risk getting hit herself.
Okay.
So,
All right.
yeah.
At a certain period of time, security forces come in and begin to restrain individuals that beget some kind of a fighting situation. And for the most part, although the tension still runs quite high with a variety of people who are just absolutely pissed to shit over this horrible news, the crowd does in fact die down. I'm going to go ahead and say that Savage and Koblenz are thrown into the brig together.
All right.
Separate cells, of course.
Aw, come on.
Separate cells. You sit in the brig. There aren't a lot of people here, obviously. It's just the two of you. But there are a variety of UN, ICS security officers from a variety of backgrounds. You recognize just sort of the walk of them. Maybe they were ex-Marines. Yeah, as you sort of settle into your cell, Koblenz looks across the way from you, and he sort of looks at the two pieces of his sunglasses, and he says, "Well, that was a shitty start to a beautiful relationship."
It certainly was. Were you Spetsnaz?
No, I was not. But suffice it to say, I got my way around when the old world was not so old.
Well, you got skills. I'll toss him a cigar.
He grabs it. He says, "I do not have lighter, but I'm sure that they did not take away your lighter." Yes?
Nope, I got it right here. Light my own and then toss it to him.
He lights it and he says, You are Maureen. I remember you speaking on the ship.
I am.
You are a man of the United Americas people, yes?
I am.
I do not know why our countries are at war. But you must understand something. I care deeply for my people. As I'm sure you do for yours.
I'm sure most people do on this ship.
I am not here to make amends for the actions in the past of my people, nor I'm sure are you to do the same for yours.
No, we're good. Sometimes we just gotta blow off a little steam and then we're fine. Our boys back home on both sides, they can deal with their own shit. I'm sure we'll find a common enemy to brawl with somewhere around this planet.
Yes, yes. I am more a man who is used to dealing with machines than with people. So, you must understand that my reaction to your words, it came from the inner part of, how you say, the gut. Yes, the gut.
Yes, the
Yes.
gut.
I'm not used to hearing insults about my people. I would assume you would feel the same way if I said the Yankee pig or something like that, yeah?
Of course.
So whatever comes of this mission, this great mother mission, we are all tied together in the great human race.
Hey, you keep our machines running, I'll watch your back.
Well, let us hope that we are both alive to make that decision. And he takes a big puff of the cigar, blows it out. He says, This is good shit. Where is this? Cuban?
Definitely.
Ah, see? Communists, not all bad.
No. You guys make great shovels and cigars.
The best shovels, the best cigars. And vodka, let me tell you. You will never have vodka like you have from my country.
That's true.
How do you feel about the rest of the people on our mission? I do not know them. I do not have any feelings for them. As I said, I am not a people person.
Oh, I think we gotta feel each individual out, but I think for the most part we got a good crew. I think we'll do all right. We might have a couple of fights here and there, but we'll buy each other a beer afterward.
I hope you do not take this question in the wrong fashion. But, did you leave anybody back on Earth?
No, I'm the only one. Had nothing back there. Figured I might as well find something out here.
A man who has no ties to family has nothing to lose. I cannot say for certain that I would do the same thing if I were in your position.
Well, you got people on board or back home?
I have people. Yes. Let us hope that what we do is for the good of all of them, as well as for the rest of all of the families who are aboard this ship.
I think we'll make it work. Hopefully it turns out good for everybody.
I will also say that I hope that when we are all done, when our mission is completed, that we have a home to return to.
Yep. They may blow it all up, but then again, they may figure it out too.
I do not have much in the way of faith with that.
Well, our nations have been friends before. We've been enemies before. So, I'm sure it'll come around again.
He sighs, he leans back against the wall, puffs his cigar, and doesn't say anything else.
Finish my cigar in silence.
A couple hours later, after you guys have had a chance to cool off, you are let out of the brig, and you rejoin the other members of your crew within...
I'd like to say that...
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, Ed.
No, it's fine.
I like to Dot stuck around the mess hall until, like, shit cools down and people have been removed, and then she just kind of goes wandering around and is, like, picking up non-perishable food items that got left behind, like, looking under the tables for anything that got dropped in the heat of the moment. She's basically scavenging.
Make an observation roll, Dot. See how good you are at scavenging. I also have some gear that may come your way if you're so
Oh boy.
good. I think that it was dropped by one of our
0
folks in
successes.
chat. Well, let's see. Looks like gear was given by Maeve Clymer. Thank you so much. Looks like
Maeve.
it looks like it was given to it was given to Ben's character and Bo. So Ben's character and Bo's character, you're all gonna have to roll for gear in this first
It's
session.
going to be drugs.
It's gonna be drugs. I'm good with it. It
Can
probably.
we say I don't find anything of value, but I do find like some snacks.
I think. I'll tell you what you find in a second. Let's just find out
Okay.
actually what Bo finds in the fracas, and I guess what Savage finds in the brig.
1d6, 2d6?
I think it's 1d10. Let me just double check here. So yeah, I think it's 1d10.
Done. Uno.
1 for Bo and 7 for Savage. All right. Hold on, folks. What happened to my gear? I had all these gear. I had all these things for gear here. Hold on one second. I had a table and everything. Here it is. Tables. Found gear. Here we go. Oh, I'm sorry. It was a 1d8. Please re-roll. I apologize. 1d8.
Okay.
4 for Bo,
Bo.
3 for Savage. Bo, please roll. Now you guys can roll a d10.
But can we keep our old
Take it.
tents?
Yeah, keep your roll 10. That's fine. All right, so Bo, you rolled a 1. Okay, so Bo, you do in fact find drugs. You find Never Sleep.
Ooh.
Never Sleep
Okay.
is you wanted caffeine, you got caffeine. This is the drugs for you don't want to sleep? There you go. Fantastic. So you find 1 dose of Never Sleep, Bo. And Savage with a 4. Sorry, Savage with a 3. You find yourself a personal med kit.
Ooh. Nice.
Yeah. So both the Never Sleep and the personal med kit can be found in the compendium. So if you click on the 3 little books in Roll20 and you just type in either Never Sleep or medical kit, you can just drag that onto the gear section of your character. Dot, as you're searching through the mess hall for stuff and unfortunately not finding anything, you're sort of scooching through the tables and you see 2 legs that sort of stop by the table you're under.
Like someone who's standing up and I'm under the table.
Exactly.
She's gonna try to crawl away further down the table before making an appearance so she doesn't pop out right next to this person.
Okay. You hear clack, clack, clack as the boots follow you.
climbs out from under the table, looks up at whoever and says, "It's not stealing if somebody left it on the floor."
You look up at the face of Gaius, the Walter android. Walter type android. And he stares down at you and says, "I never accused you of stealing."
Well, okay then. Cool.
He looks around the room at the just absolute fracas, the mess that occurred here. Overturned tray tables, just food everywhere in certain cases. Just a giant mess. And he says, "Quite a display, wouldn't you say?"
I guess. I mean, people do stupid shit when they're cooped up in small spaces.
Yes, you're right. People do. Not entirely convinced that these missions shouldn't be android only, if you ask me.
Okay, I mean, like, sure, I guess, because you don't like have to eat, right? And you don't need air. So I guess like that part would make sense, but I don't know, maybe they should be, man. I'm just a kid. I mean,
Yes, indeed, you are. It's interesting. He pulls out a PDAT and he punches a couple of things on the PDAT and he says, "Your name is Dorothy Gale, is it not?"
yeah.
According to my register, you are part of the crew of the UNCSS Sovietsky Island.
Yeah.
It's quite an interesting task for someone your age.
Well, tell me something. So I mean, like, how old are you? When were you, like, I guess we don't say born. When were you made? When were you switched on? How long ago?
My inception date was 3 years, 2 months, 6 days ago.
Okay. So, like, 3 years ago, when you woke up, you had, like, all this programming and you knew everything they thought that you needed to know to do your job. So it's been 3 years since then. Do you still know the same amount of stuff, or did you learn through experience that maybe what your programming said you needed to know wasn't everything you needed to do your job?
I suppose you could say my learning capacity is unrivaled by any other model.
Cool. So, you've had 3 years, and you've learned a lot. I've had 14 years on a mining colony. Suffice it to say, I've learned a lot. I'm useful.
What is it that you took part in whilst you were in this colony? Your records do not seem to give me any concise information regarding it.
Well, I mean, I didn't technically have a job, but both my parents worked in the mines, and usually it was double shift. So if anyone was going to keep the house running, it was going to be me. If something broke, I fixed it, or I found the person who could. I mean, there was a lot of bartering going on because, let's face it, Keller doesn't pay for shit. But, you know, when everybody needs stuff, you learn how to work together to get people what they need. I guess that's kind of what I do. I don't know, man. This is a job. It's a job and it's not in a mine, and I'm just happy to not be underground.
I see. Well, I suppose time will tell whether or not we've made the right decision. including you on these quite important missions for humankind.
Yeah, just putting it out there, but like kids are like I'm a person, I'm a people. Just because I'm young doesn't mean that I have nothing to contribute. And like you said, this is for humankind, and that's why there are people here.
Understandable.
Yeah.
He
Right.
takes...
Well, this has been real.
He takes... just as you say that it's been real, he takes something out of his pocket, and it's a data disk, and he hands it to you, and he says, "Your assignment." I see little point in delaying your departure any further. I'll be contacting the rest of your crew forthwith. I'll brief you in detail when all of you are en route.
Cool. Wait, like my assignment or the ship's assignment?
The
I'm a little
ship's
confused.
assignment. The crew's assignment.
Got it. Okay, cool. Thank you. It has been interesting, and I will see you around. She like tucks the disc into a pocket on her jumpsuit, folds it over, kind of gives it a pat, and then gives him like a little hey, and just turns and walks away as fast as she can without looking like she's trying to walk away quickly. But like, I don't know, something about that guy makes the hair go up on the back of her neck.
Murphy. Bella Rose Murphy. After the fracas, what are you doing?
She's probably going to go and see where she needs to be. Obviously, this is done. She's done with her tea. She's going to find her things and figure out where she needs to go.
Okay. I mean, there are living quarters above the Yanla, but the mainstay of where you're going to be is going to be on board the UNCSS Solovetsky Island.
So that's where she's going to go. She's going to go get herself settled.
Cool. On your way to the Solovetsky Island, of course, you have to pass through a set of airlock doors, which then bring you to one of the three decks of the Solovetsky Island. There's Deck A, Deck B, Deck C. Deck C is the main hangar bay, where scientific scout ships and science vessels and all the rest of those would depart off of the Solovetsky Island to the planets themselves. Deck B is mainly the cargo bay, or the cargo deck. And Deck A is where all of the different compartments and living quarters and offices and all the rest are. So as you board the ship, you see down the passageway, you see that android, Gaius. And he's standing there with 3 of the crew members that you met on the way here 2 years ago. You see that he's standing there with Monroe, with Tar Blatchman, Tan Blatchman, I always get his name wrong, Tan Blatchman, and the pilot, Dudge. And you see that he's handing data disks to all 3 of them.
Slow my walk as I'm approaching them. See what's going on.
The android turns to you as you approach. Ah, yes. Takes out his PDAT. Murphy, Billow Rose, entertainer. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yes, this would be for you then. And he hands you the data disk. Very similar in size and shape to the one that he's handed to the other members of the crew. And he says, "Your assignment."
Thank you.
As I said to the others, there's little point in delaying your departure any further. I will brief you in detail when you're all en route.
Already headed that way?
Excellent. I will pursue the other members of the crew that I have not yet encountered. And he turns on his heel and heads back the way that you had come onto the Ianla. Savage, you're coming out of the brig. And there's a security detail behind you. As you are escorted, you and Koblenz are escorted towards the UNCSS Solovetsky Island. You see at the other end of the corridor that tall Walter android Gaius. And he waves a hand at the security detail and he says, that won't be necessary. I believe these two have learned their lesson. Koblenz says, you are that that Walter android, yes? Yes, I am. You may call me Gaius. Gaius! Okay. You all look the same to me. Yes. You are... Checks his PDAT. You are... Davor Koblenz, mechanic. Former member of... Yes, you... Okay, well, what do you have for me? This would be for you, your assignment. And you... He checks his PDAT and he says, Savage, Henry, former Marine, United Americas. Security detail. This would be for you as well. And he hands you your assignment.
Will it self-destruct?
He doesn't seem to laugh or even smile. And he says, oh, yes. Mission Impossible. A hit television show from the early part of the 20th century, which spawned a number of movies, all of them financial successes.
Classics.
Your reference is understood and appreciated.
Take my disc.
He takes out his PDAT again. Yes, you'll excuse me, I have others to attend to. Chesterton Clark. What are you doing?
I want to do a couple of things. Well, really just one thing. While I'm on my way to our ship, I want to see if I see in any of the other bays any Throop ships. Just to see what's going on, what their footprint might be in this mission.
Yeah.
Because I find it interesting that she is here in the flesh.
Okay.
And I'm somewhat suspicious.
That's totally understandable. I would say... Now, the flotilla of ships, right? The Ianla, the 4 scientific exploration vessels. Part of that flotilla was a number of rescue and salvage vessels. I think there were several of them that were part of it, right? So I think it comes to no surprise as you look out of the portholes of the Ianla that you see these quite enormous, but certainly smaller than, your standard freighter, Throop rescue vessels. You see like 3 of them.
And these are different than like a standard salvage vessel would be.
Yeah, I mean, I think you know that Throop, the company itself, right? It's actually known as TR&R, Throop Rescue and Recovery. It's an organization that is sponsored by the UNISC, but it's independent from the UN, right? They are a private organization, and they're often called upon to save lives and recover corporate or government assets without any kind of politics or bullshit getting in the way.
I see.
So
you said there are 3 out of how many would you say, like, other auxiliary vessels of the sort?
There are, so there are, I would say, the flotilla includes probably 9 Corvus-class salvage vessels.
Got it.
So quite a large number. Again, these are not like armed military vessels. These are just rescue and recovery vessels.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to head towards our ship, and I assume I'll see guys there.
You will,
and,
yeah. He'll stop you, and he'll say, Clark Chesterton, scientist. An interesting history. Of all of the crew members, I would assume that you would be the one most suited towards intelligent conversation.
I could see why you would think that.
Excellent. Perhaps you and I will get along quite well.
Well, considering you are of the synthetic nature, and I am of the biological nature, that seems unlikely.
Oh. I apologize. You have some negative predilections towards those of my kind?
No, not at all. I have no predilections. And I don't think that the concept of getting along well with someone can really ring true for you.
Emotions, or at least the facsimile of emotions, are certainly within my programming.
I have no doubt. I am sure that I would get along well with your programmer.
If he were still alive, I feel that you and he would get along splendidly. But nevertheless, to the point. He withdraws a small metal disc, hands it to you, and says, "Your assignment."
And I take it and turn and walk away without saying anything to him.
Yeah.
Not like angrily, just it doesn't mean anything to me.
Fair enough. Murphy, go ahead and roll me a D8, because it looks like somebody in chat gave you a random piece of gear. Three. Right. Let's see what you get. Roll me a D4. You find yourself a surgical kit.
Ooh.
Oh, shit.
I don't know what you can do with that, but geez. Put that into your gear. Just grab it from the compendium, drag and drop it. I think you probably find it in wherever you're searching on the ship itself. And finally, Bo Tucker. What are you up to, Bo?
So I think if Bo was not able to collect on that gambling from the scuffle in the mess hall and the speaking hall, that he probably would have gone off to start figuring out, if we were one of the two ships very publicly announced, that he's going to go make sure that all of the gear and equipment is ready, because as a wildcatter, the nature of what I see him doing is sort of the quartermaster of operations, where he'll probably be keeping track of the gear, making sure stuff is loaded and inventoried correctly, so that when we get involved in some of these things, we know which of the little cargo sleds attached to Trina, my Hotai tractor, is going to have the right compartments for the right things, or which ones are going to be empty to store full of stuff. So I think he's just doing some routine maintenance checks and making sure that everything is tip-top shape, that they haven't banged into anything while we were in cryosleep, any sort of mechanical supervision, while also probably either finding his own secret stash of never sleep pills, or maybe finding that someone had found a hidden compartment.
Okay.
Along the way. So I think that's how I probably came across that, was just doing routine inventory and maintenance.
Okay. So you're loading. What's the name of your tractor? Trina?
Trina. Trina was one of my first girlfriends. See, she was a little bit wide in the back end, but she could just really carry a good conversation.
Oh my
and the
God.
nature of that was that I painted her the same color little scarf she used to wear around her neck. But then she decided to go and get herself involved in a very different programming when we were in high school, and it just never quite connected again. And I've always just sort of missed the way that she just held everybody up and made everybody else feel better, and that always stuck with me.
That was a lot of information. It's a lot. It's a lot of
I'm
information.
consistent.
No, it's cool. Most of which I didn't ask for. I just asked for the name, but it's cool. I got it. It's fine.
This is a thing you're going to have to understand about
It's
Bo's
fine.
personality, is that while he is sometimes very reticent to actually open his mouth and contribute when he should be speaking up in the face of danger, sometimes he just rambles, and that's okay too.
Oh, this is the best. This is so good. Wow. Okay, cool.
You've missed me, Matthew.
Oh, you goddamn right I have. Do me a favor, Patrick. You're probably, observing or at least supervising the loading of Trina into the vehicle bay of the Solovetsky Island. So there are various people there, right? There are various individuals, engineers, et cetera, et cetera. So I'd like you to do me a favor. This is going to be the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Watch me screw this up.
No. This could be the first roll for rumors, hearsay, and gossip.
Nice.
Okay.
So what I'd like
What
you
do
to
I roll for that, Matthew?
I'd like you to roll me an observation. Thank you, Bella. Sorry, I didn't let you drag and drop.
Adapt and overcome.
Bonuses, no bonuses.
Just a straight roll. Observation.
Great.
Okay. Some people on the edge of your hearing are talking about something. Not quite sure what they're talking about. Do you want to push the roll? Sort of looking.
Push the roll,
They're
Matthew.
looking back and forth at you. They're looking at Trina. They're like, "Ugh," they have these sort of faces on which you don't like. So go ahead and push the roll. Give yourself stress and roll it again. Oh.
Oh, but he can give himself stress
No,
first.
listen, you gotta understand. I know it looks bigger in the back, but she will fit. You just have to wiggle it a little bit to the left to make sure that she goes straight in that docking section there. And she's gonna sit fine, and she won't rock when the ship is actually
Oh,
entering orbit. You just have to be gentle with it. Please. You're getting my agitations up.
Hey. Yeah, these two individuals are sort of like they've got the red cones, that kind of shit. Like, doing this, they're doing that. And they just they look a little frustrated with you. And
Throw my hat on the ground.
they sort of separate after they sort of say a couple of words, a couple of gestures, none of which you overhear or oversee. And they do eventually get Trina on board the Solovetsky Island. Not a moment after Trina is fully docked and restrained, chained down, whatever you want to call it, bungee corded down, does Gaius show up. This tall Walter series android. And he says,
Well, hey there, Sparkplug.
Tucker Beaucephus.
You can call me Bo.
Bo. You are the wildcatter of the outfit, I see.
Yes, indeed.
Interesting vehicle. An older model. Not the most efficient.
I think there's a difference between number efficiency and procedural simplicity. See, back in the day, I've been in cryosleep for a long time. That just keep waking me up and getting stuff done. Sometimes it's about the manual labor, and you just got to let that happen, you know? You can't cheat time itself. You got to get the work done correctly, and they like the way that I do it. They keep pulling me out of cryo. Do you know I've been up here for almost 4 to 5 years?
He just
But
stares
they
at
like
you.
what I'm doing.
He's just staring.
Oh, I'm going to keep talking.
Yeah, keep talking. No, hit me. Let's go.
Oh, God.
I'm really testing Patrick on this one. Let's see.
You got to understand. Back in the times when you understand these things, these older models, they don't have all these precision computers that could go down the minute that there's a singular problem. See, she's got one screen. It says this is a camera, and it shows you the outside of the tractor. And all you got to do with the Dahota is you got to make sure that it's pointing the right way, and then you actually do the thing with yourself with the steering wheel. And that's the simplistics of it. Not to say there's anything wrong with your bionics, my good friend, because I understand the telemetry and what you've got inside those little sparkly silver eyes there is really, really helpful. But for me, it's about just trusting the vibe, you know? You got to get it done with your own 2 hands. Did you want something?
He hands you the disc wordlessly. Have a good trip. And he turns and walks away. Amazing.
Do I have anything to play it in?
So, you know that data discs are playable in most receivers. So, like, if you went to the bridge or if you went to a personal cabin, you'd be able to put the data disc in and then hit play, and then you'd be able to play it just like you would a CD or a DVD from that time frame.
I'm absolutely going to jump in Trina, find the newest air freshener, put my feet up, and just kick back like I'm listening to the radio.
Okay. I would go ahead and say that the 5 of you just, I guess, you take the time to find your own personal spaces within the UNCSS Solovetsky Island, prepping to leave on board this massive spacecraft. And as you place the disc into whatever receiver or computer, for example, that would allow you to retrieve the data on this disk, it shows a display of what seems to be your first destination. And I'm going to display it for you right now. The display shows a set of letters and numbers, and the letters say KOI 2650.01. It shows a planetoid. And this planetoid seems to have a variety of different regions. And for each one of our missions to these planets, you will see the same kind of display. The name of the planet, the regions, as well as most likely your insertion point for where they suspect the colony either existed at one point or still exists today. This is based on historical data, so some of this information could be horribly wrong in terms of the size of the population, the resources within this particular planet, or any of the planets involved. But as it shows here, KOI 2650.01 has thermal springs and steam vents towards the north, the northwest, bizarrely eroded wind-cut badlands, southwest, a steep-sided river gorge. On the southernmost portal, huge impact craters, deep and wide rift valleys in the southeast, plains of cave systems and sinkholes in the northeast, and upon the equator, rocky plains infested with insect-like creatures.
Oh boy.
There seems to be an enormous, as it is called here, a super canyon which cuts through almost the entirety of this planet. And just north of it, an X, which says Tontus Ravine Mining Facility. Now, of course, you probably do what research you can on KOI 2650.01. This is an arid, Earth-like planet orbiting a red giant that gives a pale, rusty orange tinge to everything in the skies, and most certainly on the planet itself. You look up the daily temperatures, it's very cold. It only reaches 10 degrees Celsius on this planet, and not quite freezing at night. It has a long day or diurnal cycle of 36 hours per day. And it doesn't have a very big axial tilt, so day and night are both actually 18 hours long exactly. There are storms of contaminated dust that swirl around this planet. So, unfortunately, although the air would be breathable without it, anybody breathing the dust in this air, well, bad things will happen. That's what you know about this particular planet. And I think as the five of you look at the first of what seem to be many of your missions to come, you all sit back, think about who or what would be part of these colony worlds. And I think it's a good time to take a break. So, we've learned a lot about each other. I think we'll learn a lot more as we figure out what's on this world as we start our first mission, which is called Home Sweet Home.
Oh dear.
We'll be back to more Alien RPG in 5 minutes. Don't go anywhere. See you guys in a little bit. All right, we're back, everybody. So, as you can see on this map, we have now moved a little bit, showing a bright blue line between where the Ionla was and where the UN CSS Solovetsky Island has gone. It's moved towards that world that you guys all had in your assignment, KOI 2650.01, also known as Gorham's Colony. I'm going to zoom in a bit, actually. You guys can see what I'm talking about here. Which is right where that little pingy dingy is. Exactly. So I think it's only fair, now that we've gotten on board the Solovetsky Island, to show you this gorgeous ship. The 3 decks that I basically showed you all before. So now it's time to show you the awesome map that was gifted to us by the graces of Jasper Nilsson Siren. Let me give you, for example, Deck A. Now, so Deck A is where, as I stated before, most, if not all, of the important rooms on the ship are. You've got, of course, the bridge of the ship. You've got the all of the ready rooms, cryo bays, the captain's room, daughter, because there's no mother on board. Daughter is the main AI that controls the ship. The galley, the administration's office, where you all sleep, the bunk rooms, high value storage. So, for example, if you pick up certain important artifacts along the way, you'd want to store them in high value storage. The infirmary for when you get sick or injured. The mess hall where you all eat. The med pods where you get better. quiet room for those times where you just need to be by yourself. Science
visual.
space. What's that?
I got no visual.
I
Yeah.
also have no visual.
Oh, I might have to give you vision.
Do you have vision? Yeah, I was gonna say
I may
vision.
have to
'Cause
give
I
you
can
guys
see.
vision. Oh, you have vision?
I can see, yes, but that maybe not all the tokens got linked.
I am going to make sure that you all have vision. Let's see. Ah, there we go. Vision is important. Vision.
Huzzah.
Vision, and more vision.
Here we go.
And I think Dot said that she had vision. There we go.
I do have vision, yeah. I just
Excellent.
moved over so I could see down what was around that corner.
Yeah. So y'all are in the briefing room after an interminable number of days traveling to the destination, Gorham Colony. And heading towards your destination, you receive a video call from Gaius aboard the UNCSS Ianla. And he says, Gorham Colony, KOI 2650.01, is a mining colony, established 2067, terraformed. Our records show the planet is rich in pentlandite, iron ore, and some trace elements. The population in 2100 was noted as 1 million colonists. Founded by J.V. Gorham. Site of the deepest drilling, apparently, at 23 kilometers, was introducing non-indigenous life to help with mining operations. Earth standard gravity, orbits a red star with a diurnal length of 36 hours, arid with high winds and frequent sandstorms. That's all I have for you. As you know, our mission is first and foremost exploratory and humanitarian. See what's there, and if anyone needs immediate assistance, then establish contact with any political authority and negotiate their return to the United Nations fold. If there's no one there, assess the planet for immediate recolonization, and don't forget to recover the colony's long data disk so we can analyze their history. You will, upon your return, need to file a colony potential report. I'm expecting your assessments of future mining potential, scientific research opportunities, or any local life that's worth investigating. And, of course, any ad hoc opportunities for scientific, commercial, or financial benefit. You will report your findings back to me upon your return. Hail and farewell. At which point, the visual display shuts down.
You gotta be fucking kidding me. I spent 2 years in cryo to go back in the goddamn mines.
Well, that's not where I thought I was going to go.
Well, I could
Great.
probably go get the drill head attached pretty quickly if we wanted. I'm not sure how long we'd need, but iron ore, I think I got the bill for that. I gotta go. Should we know anything else before I go start making tweaks to the machine?
No, but I'm gonna go check out the gear locker and see what they got. I'm not going down there without the proper equipment. Fuck that. And Dot's gonna wander off and start looking for wherever the gear is kept, because she knows mines.
Okay. So if you're looking for gear for the mines, chances are that would be on one deck down. That would be on B deck. Okay? So for example, there's mining equipment, there's cargo, engine control is also on B deck, as well as the reactor for the entire ship. Come to think of it, actually, the maybe maintenance equipment would be on B deck, but probably not mining equipment. Maybe.
I mean, she's specific, like when I say she's looking for mining equipment, like she's looking for PPE. Like she has seen what happens to people who go down into mines who do not have the proper equipment and the things that they need to make sure they can breathe, to make sure that they can walk, to make sure they don't get their skulls crushed in.
Right. Okay.
Like she's going hunting for PPE.
Okay. PPE would be suits, right? We're talking about suits themselves.
Suits, masks, helmets, headlamps.
Gotcha. Those would be the EVA suits, and those would be on the northwestern side of the ship. I can take you there if you'd like.
Please do.
I'd like to go there with her.
Okay, fair enough. So I will take Dot, and I will take Savage, and I will just bring you to that part of the ship. And shift ping.
Cool.
There you are.
Nice.
Clark, looks like you've gone a wandering. What do you? It's cool.
He found his way next door. What's
He
up,
sure
dude?
did. It looks like he did. Clark, what are you looking for here, Chief? What are you looking for on the ship?
I would like to find where the, I guess, lab would be. Assuming
Yeah.
There's a lab and not multiple labs. If there's multiple, then one of them.
There are 3 science labs.
Are they, do they serve different purposes?
Yeah, I would say that they do, actually. Let me just see if I can give you the information on the ship itself. Let me go to the ship. Here we go. So, where are you? You are not there. Okay, sorry, folks. Give me 1 second to find the actual damn ship. Here we go. The UNCSS Solovetsky Island. This is on Deck A. Oh, it looks like it doesn't really specifically state the different areas like individually. It just tells you what they are on the maps themselves. So it looks like the science, like it looks like they may not necessarily have different purposes. It's like one science lab A, one science lab B, one science lab C. They basically have sort of copies of the same equipment.
All right. How well do we know this ship? Like, I know we were asleep.
I would say that you don't really know it very well at all.
Okay. Then I would like to do some exploration of the lab.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me bring you there myself, if you don't mind. All right. So I'm going to just sort of bring you to this area here. A shift ping. The door to your immediate right is Science Lab 1. By all means, you can open that up. And you'll see that it has like a sort of a mechanized, looks like a pincer. I don't know what the hell Jesper put in here, but he's really creative with the kind of stuff that he's putting in here. So like a mechanized like robot arm that would probably be used for like grasping things or manipulating things.
Holding samples you don't want to touch with your skin.
I love it. Exactly. The next bay down, if you go out and take a quick left out of here and go down the way to this door here, that's Science Bay 2. And that one also has some kind of a Frankenstein-y fucking equipment in there as well. It looks like some kind of a like a tripartite kind of mechanized science equipment that, I don't know, it looks cool as shit, but I have no idea what it does.
Really big centrifuge.
Sort of, sure. I'll get that. And then Science Lab 3 is the third one of these science labs. And it looks like it has a variety of like, testing equipment.
Computery things,
exactly.
We're not on this planet yet, right?
No, you have not. You are en route. That's correct.
Okay. Great.
Cool. All right, let's go to. So I'll just put you. I'll put a pin in you for you there for a sec.
Yep.
I've got Dot and Savage looking at the EVA suits. Murphy and Tucker, what are you guys up to?
Vehicle bay.
Cool. Yeah, the vehicle bay is on deck C. That's an entirely different bay altogether. It's an entirely different bay.
An entirely different bay.
Damn it! Oh, Patrick, stop it.
We share a bay.
We do. So yeah, I mean the bay. I can bring you down there. But then we're splitting the party. Oh my god, what are we doing?
We're already split.
I know, but we'd be splitting you on different maps.
No aliens on this ship. We're fine.
Yeah.
I think that
then
if
don't worry
you,
about it.
not yet, but I think that
Do it
if
later.
Tucker, you and Koblenz would probably be going together because Koblenz spends most of his time on deck C anyway, amongst all the machinery and fixing things up and being, Mr. Russian engineer. So if you want, I can just bring you there, and we can have you pretend to see what deck C looks like. I don't have a problem with that if you don't.
That's fine.
Sure. So that would like be the vehicle workshop, right? And you said you have a Daihotai tractor, correct?
Yeah, she's an 8x8 tractor. It's in the main core rulebook.
Yeah. The Daihotai
I've got
Series
the-
8x8 tractor. Cool as hell. I love the look of these things. Here,
And
let me.
it says 4 passengers, which I think means counting me, we're fine to fit the whole party in one.
Yeah, what's the name of your tractor one more time?
Trina, Trioyna.
Sorry, Trioyna.
YNA. She's got Russian parts in her, so I wanted to honor the nature of the machinery as much as the woman that inspired her. And that was important to me, to be all-encompassing. Trina.
Trina. Okay. Here, let me throw a handout of what you guys seem to have gotten here. This is Trina. Let me just throw this on here.
And I think they come with 2 connector sleds. So
That's
I can use her as like a track thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Here, let me show you guys what you got here. Show, and there we go.
Dope.
Oh,
That is the
Nice.
the Daihotai all-terrain transport tractor.
That is cool.
it has a stinger.
Yeah, it looks like a welding,
welding tool.
arm. Yeah.
That'll sting.
I think in the nature of
That is dope.
painting her custom, down here by this front ladder, you've probably got like almost like the classic World War II bombers, how you had like the shark's teeth and the pinup girls. There's some sort of design that's probably not dissimilar to the scarves
Yeah.
that maybe have some sort of either like a logo from my time with the Wayland Exploration Academy or like my time under Wayu, but like off colors or like maybe an old school logo from
Cool.
like way back in the day because it's ancient equipment.
Love it. Okay, cool. So I'm
Yeah.
having you go down there right now with Koblenz. So we're all good there. And then Murphy, what are you up to?
She's just kind of wondering what the heck she's doing on this mission. Like, for real, none of this is anywhere near her wheelhouse. Oh. So she's gonna go get a cup of tea or a cup of coffee and sit back down at the table and ask any of the people that are in there, hey, anybody got some cards?
Yeah, then I will go ahead and put you in. I'm going to put you in the mess hall, the galley. I'll put you in the galley.
Yeah.
Cool. I think that Quintana would probably join you in the galley, and probably even Tan Blatchman, sort of stick in the mud kind of dude. Yeah, Dudge is going to be the pilot, of course, because he's piloting. So he's gonna go up to the bridge. And I would say Amir goes to Amir will go to the quiet room. couple ones we talked about. Monroe is going to go to... Monroe is the counselor, so she's going to the infirmary. Just to take stock of things. Okay. Oh, no, sorry. Are you in the galley or the mess hall? No, the galley's the kitchen. So I'm going to put you in the mess hall. My fault. Oh, what happened to the cool map? It went away. Bring to front. There we go. No, it went away. That was so weird. I don't know what happened. Are you guys seeing the map has changed slightly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think I know why.
I was
'Cause
looking at it on stream, and
There
I
we
thought
go.
I was like, "Oh, so that's what Matt's looks like." Weird,
Yeah,
because
that's...
I'm currently in the
layer.
dark.
It's because I changed the map to the
Usually
tokens
for
layer.
us.
My fault. All good. Now we're good. We're back to normal now.
I have to find myself. There I am. Okay.
Okay, so Murphy, Blatchman, and Quintana go to the mess hall. You guys all play a deck of cards or a game of cards. What's your game of choice here, Murphy?
Poker.
Of course. Hardly know her. Why would I poker? How about... Sorry, I'm a dad. I think you would probably get your chance to have some rumors as well. Tucker tried, unfortunately failed. So, Murphy, give me an observation roll. Let's see what kind of rumors maybe you can get during this card game.
Nice.
Cool. 1 success. Roll a d8. An 8. Okay. So, Tan Blashman sort of sits down, nervously looking across from you. Quintana, Emily Quintana sort of tips her hat at you and she says, "Let me tell you something. I know this lady makes you a little nervous there, Blatchman, but there's no reason to worry. We're all going to be fine."
We can all be friends here, can't we?
Of course we can. I will be your friend. However you'd like me to be your friend, I will be your friend. She smiles.
Well, we'll see about that.
You know, I hear things. When that fracas broke out yesterday, or sorry, not yesterday. When that fracas broke out before we left the Yanla, there's this variety of people who were giving me all kinds of crazy shit. They were saying stuff that I couldn't believe, but who knows? Rumors, that kind of nonsense. I heard that there were already ships here in this part of the galaxy.
Whose ships?
Well, nobody really knows. But that was last year. We were already in cryosleep on the way here, and there were already ships in the sector. That's what they say. I don't know if it's true or not.
Well, is this a competition? See who can make it better first?
I don't know. You'd think with a
But
collaborative effort like this, there wouldn't be any competition.
and if they're already here, what are we doing?
Exactly. What are we doing?
But really, what am I doing here? What can I really add to all y'all?
It's a
You
good
need me to
question.
serenade you, sing you a little lullaby to sleep?
No. Hold the phone there, Missy. Let me just say this out loud. You are one of the finest specimens of womanhood that I've ever seen, and I say this being a woman myself. So I think there's no reason whatsoever that a beautiful woman like yourself cannot exist in this particular mission the way that we are doing it right now. You know what I'm saying?
It's just not what I expected.
What did you expect?
I expected us to come out here and find that everything was fine. We just lost communications, and then we'd all kind of get new jobs and move on with our lives.
That sounds real easy and boring, don't you think?
Life is not ever easy, and boring is a choice. It's a lack of imagination that keeps somebody bored. If you can't find something to do to entertain yourself, oof, I pity that person.
Well, most of the time, entertaining myself is as easy as just, I don't know, looking at other people. And she sort of like makes a quick gesture with her eyes at Tan Blatchman, who is like studiously looking at his cards. He's like, chances of that, chances of a flush. The chances of a flush are indeed 33.7%. But of course, with 3 players...
Murphy
it's
is going
actually-
to reach out her leg underneath the table and just brush the inside of his ankle with her foot.
He stiffens up immediately.
Relax, sweetheart. It's not that serious.
Yes.
The cards will be what they want to be, regardless of whatever math you put into it.
Well, there are statistical probabilities, of course, you have to understand, right? And so we rely on those statistical
But
probabilities.
the game isn't really about the cards.
What? What do you mean? I don't understand.
Have you never played before?
Of course, I've played poker many times.
Then the math is not the point. Do you not know the point? Maybe you need to play a little more. Study less the books. Listen to this one over here.
Are you suggesting that perhaps the element of chance has a greater relevance to the actual game in its total sum?
Oh no. I'm saying it's more science, less math.
He sits there sort of stunned for a second. I don't quite understand your meaning.
Look around. What do you see?
I see a mess hall.
If you were to have to describe me in 5 words, what would you say?
His face turns a slightly redder shade of pink. Well, 6 words only?
Keep it to under a dozen.
Okay, fair enough. Lively, becoming, talented, red of hair.
What?
I'm just trying to,
Red hair?
yes, well, that's 2 words, because now I'm down a certain number of words. Shit.
Well, redhead is 1 word.
That's fair enough. Redhead. Songstress. I hear you are a singer. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Crewmate.
She leans forward purposely and looks at it, catches his eyes, and what do you see when you look into my eyes, darling?
Well, don't often look in people's directly into their seems to look kind of a little bit of a rude, a little bit off-putting disposition. I would say very green, very bright green. Yes, a coloration green.
And what do my eyes say when they speak to you?
I don't quite understand what I'm. Why would you? Quintana puts her hand on top of Tan Blatchman's hand and says, "You are getting yourself into a load of shit, my friend." Just stop before you keep going. Just stop. It's getting worse every second you keep talking.
Science, darling, is not just the study of test tubes and things we put in them. There's a whole other gambit to this. This game is more about the study of the people with whom you sit across from, the ones in the room. That touch of her hand on yours. She brushes her foot against his leg again.
Yep.
There's so much more to this game than just the cards.
Well then, I fold. Puts his cards back on the table.
Whether you fold or not, you should stick around. You can learn some things.
Learning is part of the things that I enjoy. Yes, very much so. I'm just gonna go and grab myself a refreshment. Would you ladies care for a refreshment?
Well, if you're going to offer, yes.
Excellent. Thank you. Hope you don't mind. I won't be too long.
Vodka martini, darling, straight up.
I'll see if they have that in the galley. And,
If not, just the straight vodka is fine.
yes, of course. He pushes the door, it opens, and he disappears through it. And it closes behind him.
Second that door closes, she just starts laughing.
Yeah.
So hard.
Quintana just like guffaws. She's like, you are something special, Miss Murphy. You are something real special.
Well, thank you.
Oh my. Now I understand why they brought you along. You know, they got all these eggheads and these big tough men and ladies and all that shit. They got the super pilots, they got the special brains. And none of that fucking matters if they don't got someone like you.
And what am I? What do you see?
Oh, don't you? Oh, don't you, Missy? I don't take it. I give it out, but I take it very, very lightly. What do I see? I'll tell you what I see. You want me to be honest? I'll be honest with you.
Do.
I see a woman who knows what she wants. I see a woman who is... And she sort of gets a little maudlin for a second. And she says, I see a woman who likes to play with her food.
Well, that's just fun. Half the fun right there.
I see a woman who's running from something.
We all have things.
I see someone who's strong, at least on the outside. Not quite so sure about the inside, though.
There's a lot of strength here.
Wow.
In and out.
I hope. Because otherwise, you're going to disappoint a whole lot of people.
That's really not an option.
Well, the hell then. Here's to not disappointing anybody. And I think with that, we're going to cut the scene and go to where Dot and Savage are in the EEV area.
Ooh.
So you guys have wandered into the northwestern portion of the ship just to check out the suits, the EV sort of preparation for extra vehicular activity, suits to prepare you for landing on the planet side, anything that would allow you to, prep yourself for that kind of stuff. And you see that there are probably like a dozen to 2 dozen suits here. They're all EVA-1 suits. They're not armored or anything like that, at least not beyond your standard armor. But let me tell you exactly what kind of suits you got there. Yeah, these are IRC Mark 35 pressure suits,
Okay.
which are armor rating 5, air supply 4.
Okay. That's better than I thought.
Yep. Air supply 4, armor rating 5.
Cool.
Which are actually sort of top of the line when it comes to pressure suits. They don't have as much armor as, say, like M3 personnel armor, which the Marines all have, right? But these pressure suits are, your standard pressure suit for extravehicular as well as surface of, planetary surface activity.
So Dot has just like power walked down this corridor. She is on a mission. She came in here fully ready to be pissed, like expecting garbage, and then walks in and just yanks open one of these lockers, and then it's just like, holy shit, no way, and pulls one down, looks at it, and she's like, well, that's never gonna fit, and then starts going sort of moving through the lockers, trying to find the smallest suit that they have to figure out if it's going to need any modifications to fit her. Because, I mean, she's actually, she's pretty average. She's 5'5", but she is scrawny because until that post-cryo cornbread, she had not eaten well in a very long time. So she's hunting through the suits and pulling them down, and kind of takes one down, and she takes the helmet off, and she's looking at it. She's checking the air filters, just totally in awe of how top of the line and awesome this thing is. The exact opposite reaction she was expecting to have when she walked down the hall. And yeah, by the time you catch up to her, she's crisscross applesauce on the floor with a half dice, a half not deconstructed, but broken down EVA suit as she's looking at all the parts and checking it all.
What about
disassembled?
Thank you. That is the word I was looking for.
Thank you, Patrick. What about Savage? What is he doing?
Oh, he's double checking the suits, making sure that the air supplies are topped off, and also looking for any gear adrift. Is there anything in here besides suits?
No, not in this particular area of the ship. This is literally just specifically for the EEV suits.
All right.
All right. So you've sort of looked around the middle section of Deck A. If you want, I can sort of have you guys just sort of give you an idea of where the things are. As I stated before, the bridge is on Deck A, sort of in the most northern section. That's where Dudge is going to bring you guys in for a landing at your closest planet. Tan Blatchman, who's the ISS sort of rules and regs guy, for the most part, he's going to be spending his time in the area of the ship that's associated with research. That is, of course, after he brings back the alcohol that you guys requested, of course, in the mess hall. Leica Monroe is the counselor, so for the most part, she's sort of she's not only the physical medical officer on board, but she's also essentially the psychological officer as well. So she will deal with any kind of psychological or mental deficiencies or issues that you guys all encounter. Hamida Amir is the security officer. She was the one who was the Royal Marine before. So she is all in charge of making sure that you folks are leaving with the secure gear, as well as potentially, if there's a need, any weaponry involved. But I think that you guys have all been kitted out with that kind of stuff anyway.
Dot will go raid like the general maintenance supplies after she is done like making sure that one of these suits is properly fitted for her frame.
Mhm.
And she will raid the maintenance supplies for like duct tape, electrical tape, a couple of giant markers, or like if there's any kind of like marking spray paint, like for putting marks on walls, like
Oh,
the
God, here we
lipstick
go
arrow
again.
in Labyrinth. We
Here
went
we
this
go
way.
again. You're fucking spray painting everything now again, Sarah. Here we go.
No, it's more like doesn't want to get lost in a tunnel. She's heard a lot of horror stories of guys getting lost underground after
Okay.
a cave-in. So like something that can be used to mark the direction, like the arrow, like we went this way.
Like
As
maybe
long as there's
pink spray paint?
I mean, if they have pink, I'm here for the callback, but if not, any color will do. But yeah, and
I'm fond of pink.
anything so like duct tape, electrical tape, anything that could be like a little spare tubing, anything that could be used to like emergency patch an EVA suit that has an air leak.
Okay.
Duct tape.
And then anything that can be used for marking,
Okay.
like underground marking.
Yeah, I would say that you can add those minor items.
Those little things to my inventory.
Yeah, those are perfectly acceptable, I would say. How about the rest of you? What are you guys intent on doing? As we get closer to the
I
planet
have
itself.
a ton of things.
You have a ton of things. Well, make it
so-
concise and precise, sir.
Yeah. Great. So based on this topography so far, I'm looking at rope, potentially tarps to tie stuff down if we get stuck in a sandstorm or dust storm. We have to stay exactly where we are. We just have to cover everything that's there.
Mm-hmm.
Winches in case we have to get near any of these rockier terrains for some of the higher resource things. Any sort of high temperature gear. So like if we are in the hotter zones, if there's something to measure temperature, if there's something to sort of warn us that there is a heat wave coming of some kind, if there's a way to sense the rising in temperature and maybe get to shelter before it's too much trouble. Any sort of torches if we do go down into the caves. Pups for mapping and navigation for the canyons
No
and the
pups.
caves. Okay, no pups. Any sort of flotation or what's the term?
Levitation?
So like over on the left here, no. Water, amphibious. Near the river gorges,
Mm-hmm.
the steep-sided river gorges, if there was any sort of way to have like flotation stuff so that if we get caught in like an underground river that maybe connects to the canyon, that we can at least sort of bob along rather than just have all of our shit sink to the bottom.
That would be some kind
Harpoon
of...
guns.
Well, okay, so I'm just going to sort of say yay or nay to some of this equipment. Like, this is not
Yeah.
like an unlimited supply store, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
So the kind of
I
things
get it.
that you're looking for, most of which, I'm not going to lie, right? Harpoon guns and all that jazz, probably would not be available on board the Solovetsky Island. They may be available on board the Ionla if you wanted to invest in that before you go out on the next trip.
Could we have them shoot something to Tonta space so that it lands nearby and we have it after we've surveyed once we get there? Like a delayed package? Like
This
if
may come
chat
in...
sponsors gear for us?
Well, it's always GM fiat, right? So I think that the key thing is that if there is something that is akin to what is necessary that wouldn't be prohibitive, I would be, of course, more than happy to include that. You're not going to get like pulse rifles from heaven, if you know what I mean, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm thinking rock climbing gear, honestly. Rock climbing and excavation gear. And the harpoon guns were just because with the river gorges, if there was any sort of defense, because we know there's insect-like creatures, like primitive sort of stuff.
Just a quick reminder as to where you're going, right? This is not an excavation. This is literally I think that the colonies are in X place on board on a specific planet. I'm going to determine if the colony still exists. If it does, I'm going to try to get these guys back on board the ship and reclaim them in the name of the UN. If they're not, then I'm going to assess the potential resources of this planet to determine if there is further investment needed here.
Right, and most of this
finding
is
that
more towards that latter
drive to find
investment.
out what went wrong.
Exactly. That is a very important part of it. And finding the
I'm
long data disk as well.
Patrick's analysis of the map and looking at the latter half of that particular focus and pitch
Yeah.
is the if there is something wrong, having all of the gear to go down so that Bo can make sure that any trip out from the X mark
Mhm.
is not wasted time, whether it is claiming territory for Wei or potentially rescuing survivors if they say that there is some sort of scattershot.
Okay. I'm going to be above board with you folks and say that I don't think that these particular missions, although you could certainly, go off ramp, so to speak, these particular missions don't really account for much of the off region activities.
Off-road?
Yeah. Right? They don't. I mean, you can be as sandboxy as you want. You can go off sort of off order, off mark, whatever you want to call it, and start like
The
going
reservation.
around the planet. Yeah, off the reservation. You can start fucking around on the whole planet if you wanted to. But this is a pretty localized mission.
Okay. I guess I assume when I heard mining and I saw the stuff about the canyon, the gorges, that it was all some sort of like anthill connected, and my brain just sort of went off on that.
I get you.
I'll absolutely take that back then.
I would
Okay.
rather you not have to go down rabbit holes if not needed, right?
Can we just do any sort of drill bits to Trina?
Sure.
And then like water pills and filtration?
That's totally fair. That is 100% fair. Cool. Let's go with that.
Yeah. Air filter, water filter, winch,
Love it.
drill bit.
Winch, drill bit, water filter, air filter. You got it. Trina has them all.
I have questions.
Yeah.
What is first of all, is our ship running with the mother operating system?
Technically speaking, it's the daughter operating system.
Okay. Does the daughter operating system function similar to the mother operating system?
Very much so.
And what is my access to it? Do I have, being the science, one of the science officers, do I have some more in-depth access to some of the functionality?
What exactly do you want to do with it?
I want to, first thing I want to do is ask if close enough, if it is a voice activated system like Mother, if not, use a computer terminal to see if we are close enough to the planet to do any kind of preliminary scans.
I'm just going to correct you in one regard, in that Mother, as per the original Alien movie and the subsequent movies in its in sequels to it, is not a voice activated system. It's typing. It's big old typity type.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
On the old green monitors.
Yeah.
Well, I also, I'm reading in the player's handbook that you can operate some models with the intercom system.
I'm fair with that. I think that just for the sake of like making sure that we're all on the same page, you could ask questions that you would normally be typing in the same way. But go ahead.
That's it. So yeah, whether it's voice or typing, see if we are close enough to this planet, if the ship has the capabilities to do any scan of any sort for different types of things.
I think that in order for you to scan for, say, life or various resources or minerals or what have you, it may require you to get closer to the planet, and potentially even within the heliotrope or within the stratosphere of the heliosphere. No, that's for the sun. Sorry. The stratosphere of the planet, in order for you to actually sort of assess anything, to be honest.
Got that.
Weather patterns, people, mineral resources, all that stuff.
Chesterton, as of right now, and this may change based on situation, does not plan on leaving the ship when we get there.
Cool.
He has no intention of that. So
totally fair.
That's why I'm asking questions. I want to figure out what I'll be able to do from the ship
Mm.
and interacting with the ship's computer system and things
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, I mean, if Murphy, Savage, Dot, and Tucker want to do all of their excavations and reconnoitering while you stay aboard, that's totally fine. I'm all right with that.
And Marcus has discovered the secret to staying alive in an alien game.
Matt
It
will
didn't
find
work
a
for
way to kill
Pharaoh.
me.
That's right.
I don't think that's
That's
true.
right.
That's
God
true.
damn it, Spunkmeyer. Okay. Yeah, that's fair.
Just
So
take
that's what he's
longer,
doing. He's
Dad.
playing. Chesterton is playing around with things and trying to get ready for us to be close enough to run some scans and
Yeah.
analyze things as the rest of the crew brings them back.
So, here's what I'm going to say then, folks. Unless there's anything else that anyone wants to do to prep for the actual mission itself, I will say that you all arrive within a matter of days to Gorham's colony. And so, KOI 2650.01 is a smaller planet than Earth. It is a planet that has this massive, even from orbit, you can see this massive black scar across its face, as if some titan rent it asunder with a single blow. You see that the surface of the planet has this sort of orange sheen, most likely from the vast iron deposits, or from the fact that it is within the shadow of this massive gas giant, which has turned everything on its surface an arid reddish color, or rusty orange. And as you sit aboard the SEV, the Solovetsky Island, you hear the crew aboard the ship beginning their descent procedures. You hear Dudge say, "All right, we're going to go in, and we're going to go in a little bit harder than we normally would. All that dust in the atmosphere is making things a little bit difficult on the screens, on the scans. But I think I can pull it in time. It's going to be a little difficult." And you hear a variety of sort of chitters and information sort of blasting through the computer system as Dudge looks at the planet, and he sort of says, "That's weird. A lot of storms on that planet. But I think I can make out, like..." He punches a couple numbers in. Yeah, there's definitely some remains of isolated settlements. They're all sort of, looks like industrial complexes, mechanized. Looks like they had some access to machines. It's all messed up, though. And you see on his screen that all of the remains of these settlements, which he points out along the planet's surface, are covered in this sort of orange dust. All the smokestacks and tankers and containers. None of them look anything other than deserted and derelict. And so Dudge says, I'm going to try to send out a radio call, see if anybody responds. All of this is while the ship is sort of like shaking from entering the upper atmosphere.
Why do I have a bad feeling about this?
Gorham Colony, this is the UNCSS Solovetsky Island. Do you copy? Static. Repeat. Gorham Colony, this is the UNCSS Solovetsky Island. Do you copy? I mean, I can keep trying if you'd like, but nobody seems to be answering me.
I guess we can check item 1 off the list. Nobody home.
Well, at least their communications are down at the least, if they are home.
I don't know, man. Nobody lets good equipment go to shit like that unless something bad happens.
No, this
But
doesn't
I
make
mean,
any
what?
sense. There's a big old heat signature and electrostatic activity in the Tontus Ravine. And he points in the middle of the area with the big X that you saw on the planet. He says there's definitely something going on down there.
Could they have gone underground?
I don't
Well,
know.
if there's something going on with the atmosphere, maybe they did. What's with this red stuff floating in the air? Is that toxic?
No, it's not well, I wouldn't say it's not toxic. I'd say you definitely don't want to breathe it. So if you're going to get out and start messing around out there, you're going to get suited up, as for damn sure.
Well, yeah, definitely.
All right, I'm going to begin my descent. We've gotten through the upper stratosphere, so I think we're good here. And you just hear... as this ship, your ship, the Solovetsky Island, which I guess you could call it sort of like very similar to the Nostromo's SEV in terms of its size, begins a flyover of the vast rocky plain of the Tontus Ravine. The plain is, well, it looks like a broken pane of glass. Ravines and chasms and canyons everywhere. And then on the screen, Dudge says, wait a minute. Right there. And you see a blip. Blip. Right there. That's it. I've pinpointed the location. That's where the colony should be. That's where all the electrostatic activity is. And the heat signatures. And I think all 5 of you, having undergone some preparation for this mission, stand in the bridge of the ship as Dudge points towards this collection of heat signatures, tucked neatly at the bottom of a wide ravine. You see a number of houses. You see a number of large buildings. There is the glint of solar panels. And you see windmills whirring in the distance, drawn by the winds ever present on this planet. And then you all see the glint about 500 meters away from where the ship is of an old Bison-class ship next to what looks to be a crude access ramp to the floor of the ravine. This ramp is pretty wide. It looks like it's actually big enough for you to drive your tractor down.
Hey, Dutch, how old is that ship?
If I had my guess at it, I would say about 100, 150 years old.
So that's what they came on?
I don't know. I'd assume so.
Yeesh. Brave souls.
Stupid, more like.
And they just
Yeah,
left
then
it
what does
sitting
that make
there with
us?
it open.
Is the rust storm affecting that ship? Does it look like it's just dust coating stuff, or that it's like eating away? Is there any way to like read telemetry on this storm and the geography and the facility and all these buildings?
In what way? I don't know what you mean. Are you meaning like...
Is there like a comm or a heavy machinery I can do to sort of study how much of it is just dust coating stuff, or it's actual damage to the structures by like reading the computers on
Yeah, I would
the
say...
equipment that I would have been familiar with?
I could say that you could make a Comtech roll. I'm fine with that.
Okay. That is a success.
Superb.
Nice.
I would say, as well, you can probably take off your level of stress because it's been more than 10 minutes, certainly in a safe space.
Harpy.
So, Bo, I would think that you would say that the dust storms here seem to have, like, just layered multiple, like, inches or even feet of this red dust over everything. It doesn't seem like it's worn away any of the metal surfaces. In that I don't think it's abrasive enough to start to sort of like tear away or wear away at any of the houses or buildings, but it's just covering everything. Make sense?
And yeah, no, like fresh snowfall.
Yeah. Except it's constantly churning it.
Is it? It is constantly in the air. Okay.
Yeah.
Is there?
I'm gonna move you guys all to the bridge.
Is there a safe place to land that is not a terrible drive to minimize the amount of outdoor suits, or does it have to be suits on to do exploring?
Great question. As you look and try to ascertain that, Dudge has already done the math, and he says, well, we're not going to be able to land inside the ravine. And landing near it? Super fucking dangerous. All that uneven and broken ground? That's going to be really, really difficult. Now, I could land next to the bison. That's on top of the ridge. And then we could, well, I should say, you could suit up and get down into the ravine from there.
I mean, if I think I stripped her out correctly and checked some of those springs, I could probably make it like an ATV with a little bit of a bumpy ride, but we could certainly get there quicker.
Well, if you all think that's a good idea, I could give it a shot.
Well, we got to go exploring anyway, right?
Well, that's the whole
We
point.
shouldn't be outside the vehicle. Might as well drive a little bit more in the bumpy terrain. Get on down, get through, get quick, deal with any sort of problems, navigating down in there and get inside that mine. In the ravine, right? No, not the ravine. Just the facility is low.
The facility is inside of the base of the ravine.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Well,
fair.
let's suit up and check it out.
Okay.
I
So,
would like to.
yeah, go ahead,
before
Clark. Sorry.
Everybody goes out. I would like to, now that we're closer, and you tell me what you think about this. I would like to like type things in to the command line of a computer terminal,
Yeah.
and then I don't know how you want me to roll for this, but then you tell me what the computer tells me back. Like, you type that wrong, or do not understand, or
Yeah. I would say that you could have done this either as in a direct connection to daughter, or just at a Comtech roll to one of the terminals that connects to daughter. So tell me what you type.
So I'm gonna type analyze air contents.
Ooh. You know what I'm going to make you do? I'm going to have you do an analysis roll, Clark, since that's one of your talents.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So with that, Clark, I know that your thing is analysis, and I think you make a observation roll, right?
Yes, I make an observation roll. For every success, I get to ask one of the questions below, and there's a list of questions.
Perfect.
And you must answer truthfully, but you can be vague.
I love being vague.
I also reduce stress for successes, but nobody is stressed.
Nobody's stressed yet.
All right.
Hit me with an observation here, Clark.
I'll go ahead and hit you with an observation.
1 success. So, I think that befits you 1 question.
Yes. My list of questions. What problems could it cause? Is one of the questions that I can ask, and I'm going to ask that about specifically about the orange dust that seems to exist everywhere.
Yeah, I think the analysis of the dust is like chemical composition, like 90% silicon and iron ore. So you are pretty confident, based on your scientific knowledge, Clark, that if you breathe this shit in, you're going to start choking to death.
All right, I'm going to relate it to the group in the nerdiest way possible. Yeah, upon further analysis, it appears that the air here is 90% silicon and iron, and it will kill you.
Well, technically speaking, the air is not silicon. It's the dust that's silicon and iron.
Yes.
Sorry.
No, that's what I meant.
Don't be
No.
don't want to be a nerd.
No, you did it correctly. I'm not mad at you.
Can't help myself.
The dust in the air will most definitely cause asphyxia.
Yes.
And Dot is just looking at you like, you needed a computer to tell you that?
That's the best part about this whole interaction.
All right.
I've told everyone what they already know.
I can't wait to hear more of things that I already know. This is amazing.
I've got lots more coming.
That's totally fair. I am going to... Oh, there's Dudge. Yeah, I'm going to put him in the token seat. There we go. So there he is. There's the man with the plan, Dudge. He puts his headphones on, and he starts bopping. He's like, all right, folks, strap yourselves in. We're coming in for a landing. And he's going to make a piloting roll. Here we go.
Dot's just like, oh, I fucking hate this part. And climbs into a seat and just like white knuckles it.
All right, here we go. He's got a 4 in piloting. Fuck yeah. Here we go.
I hope so. He's our pilot.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know how to pilot this thing.
What do I do? What do I press?
Hello, Mary Poppins. Submit. There we go. Oh, he got 1 success. Jesus Christ. Thank God.
Skin of our teeth, guys. The campaign almost ended right here.
1 success.
Just a little bit of turbulence.
Yeah, just a little bit of chop. Hello.
I have to tell you all stories sometime. Just not now.
We all have to do this. We all have to go.
Synchronized bouncing.
And like a pack of Muppets, we're off.
Indeed. So,
Ooh, that made me dizzy.
you
Don't do that
do
again.
feel the turbulence ease as the Solovetsky Island lands next to this massive hulking ship. And the landing gear sets down. Dudge turns off the power to the flight control system, and he says, "Right, oh, this is where you guys come in. You're all ready to go?" The door opens behind him, and Tan Blatchman walks out, and he's got a suit on. He says, I just would, I would like to really put my best foot forward here, folks. I volunteer to come with you. I mean, after all, this is our first expedition together, and it's important that all the UN rules and regulations be followed very strictly on this mission. Don't you agree?
Sure.
Blank stare.
Did you bring your red shirt or your brown pants?
I don't quite understand those references, but I am wearing, as you can see, a very efficient suit, EVA suit. I would assume that you would do the same.
head to the
Bo
locker
is going to
room
go
and suit
over
up.
to. Yeah. Judge is the one with the '80s fascination, right?
Correct.
Music.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see if I can go over and borrow some music from his collection to pop into Trina.
You got a tape deck in that thing? Awesome.
That's what I'm at. I mean, listen.
I didn't
if
know
you
Trina
let
was
me.
that old.
I
Damn.
mean,
Retrofitted.
She's got one of them face plates you can take off when you have to lock up, and it makes flashing across the front.
what song is it that you would like to take from his collection of
Queen's Another One Bites the Dust. How dare you assume I didn't know?
Excellent.
Matthew.
Nice.
Matthew.
Fair.
I was going to save it for actually getting on the ATV.
Nope. This is very appropriate. All right.
That's it. That's all you can legally sing.
Yeah, I know exactly. 16 bars. That's it.
Mhm.
So Tan
The baseline, baby.
awaits the other 5 of you and says, "Right. So looks like we're best foot forward. Yes, best foot forward. ICC protocols and all that jazz. Yes."
Sure thing, boss.
Sure.
I am going to put the 6 of you now. It's now the 6 of you. Quintana is not part of this. It's Dot. Sorry. Just move Dot here. Let me move Quintana out. Okay. So now it's just the 6 of you. And I'm going to say this. As the 6 of you approach the airlock to the planet, the airlock... Actually, wait, I've got a sound effect for this. I don't need to do this with my mouth. I can do this with my sound effects.
Dot
With
is
your mouth,
like
Matthew.
quadruple checking all of the seals on her suit as they make their way towards the store.
Yeah,
I am not approaching the airlock.
Okay, so you're staying on the ship?
Yes, I'm gonna just let me know when I can make more analysis rolls.
You will be on the ship. So you're not using you're staying on the ship. You're not using the suit, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Much of this, I'm just gonna say this out loud, Marcus. Much of this adventure takes place on the planet itself, interactions with NPCs and all that jazz. So if you choose to be on the ship, totally fine. We can work around it. I just don't want you to miss out, right?
I assume that I'll probably end up having to go off the ship.
At a certain point in
some
time,
point?
you may. Yes.
And why not go ahead and split the party now?
Hey, let's do it. I'm cool with that.
Matt.
Yeah.
For the sake of both look and necessity, can I... So the maintenance jack is the same one as Alien Isolation, right?
Yes, that's
It's
correct.
got the sort of monkey wrench thing on one end. Can I like strap that like a pool cue to my back outside the suits?
Yeah.
When we are leaving Trina?
Absolutely.
Just
Absolutely.
making sure.
No, absolutely. Okay. So then, if that's the case, then Chesterton, you stay aboard the ship. So it's just the 5 of you guys then who actually leave the ship. So the airlock decompresses. And as the airlock does so, you hear the howl of the heavy winds and the reddish dust that is just like a whirlwind of red and orange in front of your faces. You disembark and step down the ramp. I'm going to go ahead and say that Trina comes, you guys aboard Trina. Is that correct? Cool. So Trina, you get on board the Daihotai tractor. All 5 of you begin your descent on Trina. That would allow you to go down the ramp into the valley itself, into the ravine. And you begin to now see a set of what looks to be some kind of a complex. Looks to be perhaps 3 or 4 large houses that are all connected with each other. Let me see if I can give you guys an idea of what I am referring to. Give me one moment here. I'm going to just verbally describe it to you, actually, rather than giving you a map. So, there is a set of 3 houses towards the back of the ravine, which all seem to be connected to each other through various tunnels. There is a larger set of what seem to be water tanks directly to the north of this building, of this tripartite building. Rounding around the side of the ravine, there seems to be a building that seems to be a relatively tall building, another squat building next to that, and then what seem to be greenhouses, again, covered with this reddish dust.
They look broken or intact?
Intact.
And the place appears to have electricity, like windows are lit up and such?
Yes, you do see lights along the roofs of these houses. You also see, to the southwest, a massive hole in the ravine wall, probably 20 feet high. And it has a downward slant. You assume that this is the entrance to the mines.
Yeah.
What are we thinking, gang? Tower first?
Sounds good.
I mean, where does it look like there are people? I don't want to go poking around in someone's shit and have them come shooting because they think we're stealing it.
That is a fair point.
Before I forget, please ensure, folks, that you put air supply of 4 into your character sheets, because you will be breathing utilizing these suits, correct?
4, and oh, that's right. We also these have armor 5, right?
Correct. So you can replace your current armor with
I didn't have
5.
any.
If you have any, right? With 5.
I'm guessing that's a weight of 1.
It is a weight of 1. It doesn't stack up with the armor that you currently already have. So if you already have armor, this just replaces it. Cool? Excellent.
Yeah.
Got it.
Okay.
Kids don't get armor. What are you talking about?
Kids get plot armor. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't think that's true either.
And so, as you step off the landing pad, so to speak, or actually, you step, I would assume you step out of the Dalhousie tractor in order to assess the area, right? You know, it's not like you're driving the car into the buildings, right?
Well, I mean, could I drive up to the buildings and sort of do any sort of... Are there any sensors on? Because I use her for all sorts of mining things and expedition and sort of terraforming-related stuff while carrying the gear. I'm assuming there's some sort of little sonar thingamajig on it.
Yeah, I mean...
A doohick?
A doohickey, sure. Let's call it a doohickey. Why not?
Does it go ding when there's stuff?
It always goes ding when there's stuff. That's the
Thank
great
you.
part of a doohickey. It goes ding.
That's all I need.
Yep, you're
I
welcome.
just needed to go ding.
It goes ding.
What do you want for a check?
Comtech. Ding!
Ding.
Ding, fries are done.
Not start. Don't do it.
I will choose when to finish. The interior of your readout does in fact indicate that there are multiple heat signatures within the building to the direct west of you.
Would there by any chance... no, never mind. No. That's Patrick, not Bo.
Okay.
Well,
So there's
I mean,
there's
that one
people
over
in
there
there?
looks like there's some heat signatures. We should go over there now. Check, maybe knock on the door and see who's home. Then you can go through their shit, or if there's an understanding of what the hell's going on down here. And then I'll flick the CD on and start blaring the bass line for another one bites the dust.
Cool.
nice.
Okay. Is anybody outside of the Dalhousie tractor?
Not until we get where we're going.
I mean, it's not too far of a distance. It's probably maybe a couple 100 meters off of the off ramp and towards the buildings.
Oh no, I'm letting him drive.
Fair. Murphy,
I'm
Savage.
squishy. I'm doing the same thing.
Okay.
No, I'll enjoy the ride until we get there.
Okay. You guys arrive in a matter of a minute or two at this main building.
I guess let's go knock on the door.
Okay. As the Dalhousie tractor comes to a stop, one of the doors opens. And out of this building step 6 figures. Each of these figures is wearing a sort of... It's not a suit per se. It's more sort of protective garb. It looks like wrappings that people have sort of jerry-rigged together over time. Gloves, a massive sort of scarf-like wrap around their head with goggles that protects whatever features you might see on these individuals, whether they be man, woman, old, young, what have you. But what you can be sure of is that 3 of them are carrying shotguns.
Yeah, seeing that, Dot just goes, well, I'm not going first.
Are the
she
shotguns?
looks-
I gotta drive.
Are the shotguns slung, or are they like holding them like they're ready to use them?
They're holding them.
But are they aiming them at us or just
No.
holding?
They're just holding them.
Well,
Does this thing have speakers? Can we tell them we come in peace? That was actually a legitimate question. Is there any kind of exterior...
Oh, yeah.
I don't think so.
Okay. PA. That's what I was looking for, like a PA.
I'm
Well,
going
now
to
we
get
know
out.
what to install before the next mission.
yeah, I'll climb
I'm gonna
out,
go ahead
climb down the
and
ladder.
Okay.
with my hands purposely out of my no hands in pockets, no threatening moves. I don't have a weapon, so good to see you here. We're from the colonies. Came to check on you guys.
They look at each other. So their heads sort of swivel toward each other. You hear under this sort of muffled garb, "You're from the other colonies?" You hear a woman's voice.
Well,
We're from the UN.
UN.
What do you mean the UN?
It's a combined group of the folks from back home. The United Nations, they all set a group together to work in tandem to check on the outer lying colonies. Because we have been some time without word from all of you here.
You hear a male voice pipe up. This one has a bit of an accent. It's a sort of a lower voice. And he says, "You're from Earth?"
Yes.
He looks at the person next to him. And then he looks at the other person on the other side of him. Another male voice pipes up from another one of those individuals. And he says, "Well, shit. That's news. That is news. Well, why don't you come on inside? Let's talk." You hear the other male voice say, "Yeah, let's talk." And I think that's where we're going to end for tonight.
We love it.
All right.
We love
Yeah.
it.
So, let me just turn down the wind. The wind!
It howls!
It howls, it howls. All right, so we are done with our first session of our campaign, folks. I think that we're going to definitely learn a lot more about these folks. And relationships have already started to sort of come together. I think that buddies and rivals have started to to germinate. We can potentially think of who these people are right now. We can think about them, or we can just say them. Like if you guys are 100% sure as to who your buddy is and who your rival is, that way we can figure out how we can work out experience points, which is part of the overall amazing part of the of this particular game system, is that you use experience points in between sessions to get you opportunities to advance your characters. So we're going to be working on that. Any of you guys have any buddies or rivals that you want to pipe up with now? If not, that's fine.
Not yet.
Not yet?
That's too soon.
I don't know yet.
Okay.
I mean, I know it hurts XP to not have one.
That's fine.
I feel like the only interaction I really could have, yeah.
Absolutely, no worries.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to take us a little more time actually, like, role-playing together before we figure that out. I have thoughts, but I don't have, like, solid backing for them yet, if you know what I mean. I have, like, gut instincts.
Yeah.
Understandable. Cool. All right, so we will figure that out next time. In between, of course, we'll do some experience points stuff, but we don't have to worry about that for this particular time. We can work that out in our chat, in our Discord. Speaking of Discord, let me just put this in the chat for those of you in Twitch. That's our Discord. If you guys ever want to check us out on Slices and Dices, you can check out our Discord, because that's the coolest, best, and easiest way to get in touch with all of these mofos, and me as well, in case you wanted to talk to us or chat with us, or just, just check out all our stuff.
Come say hi.
And come say hi. Check out all of our coolness and all of our madness. So, yeah, Discord. Discord's where it's at. We've got a lot of things coming down the pike here in the month of February. We've got Call of Cthulhu. We've got, of course, our Ravenloft campaign. We've got Star Wars 5e, which is coming back a little bit later this month. We have got... What are the other events we've got?
Berserker.
Oh my gosh! Berserker.
Friday.
Ben is going berserk with Berserker. We have... it's a Morkborg add-on, or whatever you want to call it. Not an add-on per se. It's like a flavor of Morkborg. it's like an ice cream flavor.
It's like a spin-off.
Yeah, Ben's gonna GM, and his wife was nice enough to allow him to do it on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, so Alien, Call of Cthulhu, Morkborg, Star Wars 5e, Ravenloft. That's what's, I think, we're on the docket for February. Other things are coming in March, though. We've got them all lined up and planned, and some are in April, actually, but I can't tell you more about it until we come closer to that date. But yeah, I hope you guys have all enjoyed our Alien RPG game. We'll see each other again next month, where we will play more of this crazy, awesome campaign. So, until we see each other again, folks, remember, take care of each other, but do not forget to take care of yourselves. See you all soon, folks. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.